Right, so what are we doing?
Nice man on the news asked, I'm very low, Mr. Levels man. There you go. That nice man on the news asked Brian Paddock, who is the prospective Lib Dem candidate to run this great town of ours. Ken's going to get back in, isn't he? I mean, you just feel it in your bones he's just going to get back in, isn't he? I want Boris, just for amusement's sake. Anyway, Brian Paddock said, he's the laughing policeman, right?
Yeah.
His was. I suppose his was now. He's resigned, is that right? So hard to keep up, isn't it? I'm having a job keeping up with what I'm doing. I have to look up on the net to find out where I am every day. And he said about Boris Johnson that you would only want Boris Johnson if you... something of the order of... you would only want Boris Johnson if you happened to be running a circus, not a town, which I thought was unnecessarily nasty.
Yeah, but... I think... So you think people still vote for Ken, though, because he's just, more familiar, do you reckon?
Well, there comes a point in politics when people have just had enough and they can't stand it anymore, and there's no other reason that they've just been looking at the same face for a good long while, and they've made their mind that they want to change. And that happens every so often, and the Labour Party paid for it for many years, and the Conservative Party are paying for it now. But I don't get the feeling that that's the same with Ken. I mean, apart from anything else, they don't really do anything to the Mayor of London. They had all of their powers stripped from them. I think Maggie, under great pain, okayed a London mayor, but made absolutely certain that he would have no powers other than that to change the shape of our buses, which he got wrong. Yes, he did.
Okay. But
he was the man who said only, and I can't remember the exact phrase he used, but, oh, by the way, I am not Ian Lee.
Oh, no.
Where's he now? Kent.
How did you guess?
I don't know. Every time I ask where he is, he's always gone to Kent. He's got a massive allotment down there, and he's growing he's tending his sprouts, or some manner of thing like that. Yeah, he watched the Jamie Oliver programme, and he's getting his hands dirty. I like that Jamie Oliver programme. I was mentioning this the other day on my Super Show on Saturday night, and I think that it's the first time... By the way, remember where I was? I was talking about Boris Johnson. You need a roadmap to figure out where my brain is going.
I'm lost already.
Yeah, write these topics down as we do them, because I bet I won't finish one single one, and we'll have to go back and finish them in time for the end of the programme, all right?
Correct.
You will do that, won't you?
I'm writing them down as we speak.
OK, so far we've had Boris Johnson, and now we're on to Jamie Oliver. But I think that, as I said on Saturday night, which, by the way, if you missed any part of that exciting show, you should catch up on our excellent podcast service, which is lbc.co.uk / what is it? lbc.co.uk/LBC Plus.
Orky/Docky.
Something like that,
yes.
Right? Yes. Anyway, go to lbc.co.uk and it'll all become clear. It'll be right there in front of your very eyes, like they say in a circus. But it's the first time that anybody has actually cooked on television. Now, I know that might sound like a strange thing to say, because every time you turn on the television, people are cooking. But the unique difference is, and I suspect that it's partly to do with I won't say cheap, but what's a better word for cheap? Economical? Yeah, all right, economical, that'll do. The economical way in which that programme was funded. Because I believe the story is that he went to Channel 4 and said, I'd like to do you a cookery show where I grow my own vegetables and get rooting around in them, like the bloke with the beard would say. And Channel 4 said, oh, no, we're not very interested in that. We want you to do something campaigning, you know, like you did with your last hit show, with the school dinners that kids promptly turned their noses up at. And, by the way, should be forced to sit at the table till they've finished their dinner. Am I right?
Yeah.
They'll be there all day.
I don't care. You know, like in the old days, like we used to, when kids weren't gigantically fat, when they didn't look like they'd all eaten a space hopper because they're out there stuffing chips in their face. I don't like it, they say. Eat it. Anyway, that's beside the point. I hope you've written down that topic as well, because I'll come back to that later. Where was I?
What, kids eating...
Oh, yeah,
dinners?
Jamie Oliver. So this is the first time that anybody's actually cooked on television. And as I said, that might sound strange because that's all that's on television, right? Endless people doing celebrity cooking and indoor cooking and outdoor cooking and...
Do you mean...
cooking while drunk and it's just never-ending cooking programs. But the unique difference is, and as I say, it might be due to the fact that the Jamie Oliver thing is cheap / economical, is that all other programs are films of people demonstrating how to cook. The Jamie Oliver program is a person just cooking. It's as though a camera has wandered into his garden while he's preparing his dinner and is just filming him do it. And his hands are dirty and it all looks a bit cobbled together. And I think that the reason might be, as I said, he went to Channel 4 and they said, no, we want another campaigning thing. And Jamie Oliver said, well, I don't want to do that. Because this is a make or break. Well, it's not make or break. The guy's fantastically wealthy. But it could be a turning point in his career. Because, as usual, when someone does good, the press rounds on them and says, oh, no, it's not, for whatever reason it might be. Kids aren't eating their dinners, therefore it's Jamie Oliver's fault for giving them good food. Can anybody figure that out? That's just ridiculous. It's the parents' fault for not forcing them to eat good food, and it's the school's fault. Well, no, it's our dark overlord's fault. For not allowing the schools to discipline the children into eating their dinner. You don't get any pudding if you don't eat your meat.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd. Do we have to pay Roger Waters every time I say that?
Probably.
Yeah. Where was I?
Kids not eating their dinners.
Yes.
Or Jamie Oliver.
Jamie Oliver, that's right.
Real
and so he said, Jamie Oliver said to Channel 4, he gave them this signal, which doesn't work on radio.
How rude.
And he said, right, I'll do it myself. And he wandered off, and he got the money from the bank, he borrowed the cash to make the programme, and so it was economically filmed, and it looks that way. I think that's part of the charm of it. I think it's an excellent programme. And so there he is, wandering around his own garden, cooking food on his outside oven. Who ever heard of one of those before?
Isn't that a barbecue?
Well, it would be if it wasn't an actual oven. Only in Glastonbury have I ever seen anything like that.
Right.
Well, the first time I went to Glastonbury, I was me and about 20,000 other people, not like the giant city that they have these days. Oh, it were grand when I were a lad. Yes, instead of double-decker buses selling pizza and burgers and a dub tent up all night with 24-hour banging, slamming disco action, in the old days at Glastonbury, Earth Mothers used to dig an oven in the ground and bake apple pies and bread from scratch. You remember that, don't you?
Afraid not.
No, and you could sit on the ground and watch the main act of the evening on the pyramid stage and see perfectly well because there were so few people there. It was fantastic.
What?
I won't go anymore. It's just too much.
Yeah, I'm out on my depth.
It's too much. But anyway, that's the unique thing about the Jamie Oliver show. I suspect because it was done so cheaply, it's just a film, more or less in real time, of him just cooking, not demonstrating how to cook, with all the ingredients already prepared on a clean white table in what looks like a studio. I mean, even the Blessed Delia isn't actually cooking, she's showing us how to cook, you know, in that perfect, almost too perfect kitchen that she films herself doing her business in. But Jamie Oliver is actually cooking, not showing us how to cook, and I think that's the unique difference. And it's a tremendous success for him. He made this programme and went back to Channel 4, who'd refused to make it with him in the first place, and said, would you like this show? And they took one look at it, and their tongues hang out, and pound signs came in their eyes, and they said, yes, please. So that's the Jamie Oliver thing we've got cleared up. Now we have to go back and deal with the other 10 subjects that I've raised in the first 15 minutes, and we'll do them when we come back. It's 7:15. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. And
Abbot. Here are the studio calls flashing up on the indicator.
Hi, Wickham. Hi, Wickham.
Hi. Do you know, it's like musical chairs with you lot at LBC at the moment. You've got to be on your toes to keep up.
Edwina.
I know.
How are you?
Well, don't ask me, because I'll have to tell you the truth, and then that will sour the programme.
Okay, I won't ask.
Are you okay?
I'm super.
Good.
Thanks for asking.
Good. Do you know, I've been listening to you and agreeing with everything you were saying about Jamie Oliver.
Of course.
But I caught a bit of his programme last night, but in the main I was listening to Ian, but sort of just surfed and wanted to see what Jamie was up to.
Yeah.
and the bit I caught was him in the garden when he was digging up potatoes, purple potatoes.
Purple?
Yeah, and I didn't realise that you could get purple potatoes, but he said they're not just tasty, but it was quite fascinating to see a programme where you were growing your own and bringing it into the kitchen and incorporating it as part of the meal.
You know, when normally you look at a cookery programme, the thing that you can't be bothered doing at the end of the programme is cook, right? Now, be honest, you want to go to the fridge and open a box and read the instructions on the back and nuke it in the microwave.
And
with his show, the thing that you can't be bothered doing at the end of the programme is growing the stuff. So you think, I know what I'll do. I'll go to the supermarket. And on the first one, for instance, he had a bowl of tomatoes, the like of which I've never seen in my life. They were green and yellow and red and blue. Everybody.
Blue.
I'm sure there was a blue one in there. And there were sort of the shapes that you didn't think that vegetables can... Are tomatoes vegetables or fruit?
Well, they say that tomatoes are a fruit.
Right. That you didn't think that fruit came in.
Yeah.
And so you go to the supermarket and you think, oh, yeah, you know what, I won't grow them because I haven't got a garden, I've only got a balcony. I'll go to the supermarket and I'll fill my my little basket there with all manner of delicious and exotic tomato-like fruit. And you know what? There's the same one. They're all red and they're all round and they taste of water.
I know. But in the supermarket, they say that's what we want as customers, and I just say, no, that's not what I want. I want flavour. I don't care about the shape of it, because I don't want perfect shapes. I want good flavour.
Exactly. Well, nothing in the supermarket has got flavour anymore. The peppers don't have any flavour, and the tomatoes haven't got any flavour. The carrots don't taste of anything. The cucumber might smell like, not cucumber, celery. Might smell nice, doesn't actually taste of anything.
But when I was listening to Jamie last night, it struck me, as you said earlier, there are umpteen programs on how to cook and, nutrition and diet and goodness knows what, and umpteen recipe books and cookery books. And it just struck me that most of us, because we don't have time to go to markets or grow our own, we get our food, the main foods, from the supermarket.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, why on earth don't supermarkets do live demonstrations of what they have in-house? So if you need any ingredients, it's all in-house. Because sometimes, for example...
Well, somebody sets up a trestle table and knocks up a salad.
Well, the thing is, these supermarkets are very big. I'm talking about the main supermarkets.
Yeah.
And they must have a facility somewhere where they could do live demonstrations where you could see, smell, and be able to taste and think, I can do that.
I don't think anybody would have the time, would they?
I think, you see, for me, my frustration is that sometimes when I do listen to these programs, I think, oh gosh, that sounds good. Something new I've never tried. I'd like to go and do that. So I go, with my shopping list, and I find I can't get all the ingredients under one roof. So it means either traveling to a specialist shop or going here and there, and puts me off.
Yeah,
Whereas,
so you just go home and order up a Chinese.
Well, that has been known. But it'd be lovely because we don't have cookery or domestic science in our schools, and it's surprising.
Do they really not have that now?
No, for
Are you
a long
sure?
time.
Really?
And people buy already made-up meals, and it's so much easier to do it yourself. And if they could see how
and it's
easy
much,
it is
much better. Yeah.
in a supermarket and a live demonstration, see it, taste it, I'm sure more people will be cooking at home.
Edwina, I make a pizza from scratch, by which I mean the base, the sauce, I don't actually go out and catch the shellfish myself, or, knock a pineapple out of the tree. You must put a pineapple on pizza, by the way. I won't take any argument about it. And the difference between the pizza that you make at home and the pizza that you would buy outside, the pizza at home, it's like drugs. It really is. I can't get through a week without having one. You should come over and we'll have a pizza, Edwina.
Thank you for the invite. Anyway, that's what I had to say on the programme, and it's nice to talk to you.
Thanks a lot, Edwina.
Bye.
Tata, what a nice lady. No, I don't think she's right about that, because when you go to the supermarket, am I right, you want to get out of there almost the very second you enter its portals, because people are being dragged around by their screaming, snotty children. And it looks like an operating theatre for a start. I mean, the light is it repels you as though you were a vampire. You just want to get in there and do it and get out. And what is most irritating is when some supermarkets, Marks and Spencer, start shifting stuff around. I mean, you've got the route in your head, you know exactly what you're going to get, and then you go to where the cheese is, and there's socks there. What's that about?
That's every supermarket, isn't it?
Well, no, the one that I go to, which begins with an S and ends in Ainsbury's, everything is always there in the same place. Bless them for doing it. I think it's just because it's so gigantically huge that it would be a major undertaking, like going to war, to start moving stuff around. But M&S just keep doing it.
So are there certain aisles that you avoid on a regular basis?
Yeah, the two that have got crisps in them. With the exception of pet food, the only single product that's got two aisles all to itself, check this next time you're there, crisps. What does that say about us? Here's Ladbroke Grove. Hello, Paul. Gone. He'd been waiting for such a very long time, and the moment he was on the air, he bottled it, I suppose. Banstead. Hello, Charlotte.
Hello.
Charlotte.
Hello, Nick.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Why does everybody keep picking on Boris? I feel sorry for him. Why do they keep picking on him all the time?
Oh, well, I suppose he's the great pretender, isn't he? I mean, as far as a person who could possibly beat Ken Livingstone, it's Boris. And so it's either him or Ken that anyone who is bringing up the rear, so to speak, would have a go at. Plus, he's an easy target. I mean, I know that Ken Livingstone's an easy target as well. When one of the newspapers went out and asked 1,000 people, which words do you think most represents which candidate, and they gave them words, and they said which candidate most represents this word, and slimy was overwhelmingly Ken Livingstone, which I thought was a little unkind, but I know what they mean. I mean, it might partly be because he's got this thing about newts, and although I've never actually held a newt, I would imagine that they would be slimy.
No.
And we do come to resemble our pets.
Yeah, I heard somebody on the news from Brighton, I think he's a candidate, and he called him a clown.
Yeah, that's right. You only want a clown if you're going to run a circus. That's what Brian
like
Paddock, the laughing policeman, said,
Yeah. I mean, he must have some sort of brain. He's an MP.
Well, this is the thing about Boris Johnson. This is why everybody likes him. He is fantastically smart, but pretends he's a bumbling oaf.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was just going to say.
Because nobody likes a smart arse, right? We like people who wear their learning lightly, and no one wears his learning lighter than Boris. He's like a cuddly teddy bear. It's as though he knows nothing, and yet behind that quizzical and bemused exterior lies a razor-sharp mind.
I think there's more to him than it meets the eye.
Which is a better way of putting what I just said, Charlotte. Yes, that's right.
It'll be Christmas soon, won't it?
Oh, don't say that.
How notice how dark the evenings are getting?
Yes, I have.
It's 7:30. It used to be light.
I know, it's depressing.
I just said to my partner, do you realise another 2 months it's Christmas? It's October, November, December.
Why would you say that? Why would you wish your life away? I mean, we can cling desperately on to the last remnants of summer if we all pull together as a team and don't mention the C word. All right, thanks a lot, Charlotte.
Bye.
Ta-ta. She's right, though. Very soon it's going to be... And it does get dark. And this occurs to me every year. It doesn't get dark gradually. It almost seems as though an asteroid has hit us from behind and pushed us out of our ordinary orbit, so that straight away it seems to get dark early.
How come it doesn't get light so quickly like that?
That's an excellent question, and I've got no idea what the answer is. Probably because it probably does, it's just that we are such a depressive nation that we always look on the dark side of life.
Always.
Yes, it being the opposite of bright. Yes, but no, she's absolutely right about that, because for a long while when I was doing my show on Saturday evening, it was light while I was still in the car outside. Fantastic. And now it's barely light at, what? I don't really even know anymore.
Don't you find you go to bed earlier, though, because it's darker earlier?
Well, I've been going to bed at 10 this week, but then I have been getting up at the crack of doom, doing something at another place, playing
rock and roll
on the early shift.
And I bet it's still pitch black then, is it?
Yeah. So about 9:30, I'll take a nap, if that's all right with you.
Fine by me.
Okay. It's a plan. I'll note it down in my diary. This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott in for Ian, and we're away for what I expect will be the bad news. Hello, hello, hello. Back with sound. Here's Ladbroke Grove. Hello, Paul. I'll say it again. Here's Ladbroke Grove. Hello, Paul. Gone again? Is that the same guy?
I'm afraid so, and that's his last chance.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. What he wanted to talk about was... Am I low again? What he wanted to talk about was that, International Talk Like a Pirate Day. That was the topic that was on the screen there, and I was keen to talk to him about it. Is that today?
Believe so.
Well, avast me hearties. Let's find out a little bit about that. You can go ahead and Google it for me. Although, off the top of my head, I think this has something to do with the world's funniest columnist, which is a guy who works in Miami called Dave Barry, and he writes a column for the Miami Herald. He's gone on, I think he's gone on holiday for years. I don't think he's written a column for years now. They just keep repeating his old columns. But he's networked. That's not the right word for a columnist. What do you call it when somebody picks it up and sends it all over? Networked. Syndicated. He's got it's syndicated to hundreds of different publications in America. He's won the Pulitzer Prize for comedy. He's absolutely tremendous. If you are attached to the Worldwide Weight, go and look up Dave Barry, B-A-R-R-Y, and read some of his columns. He is hilarious. And I think this has got something to do with him. I think it's some sort of charity thing, and it's International Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is September the 9th. Is that today? There's something I should know.
It's September the 19th.
September the 19th, that's right. International Talk Like a Pirate Day. All hope abandon ye who enter here. Yeah, go on then. Enter here. Avast me hearties, I've said that one already. Welcome to the one and only official Accept No Substitutes Talk Like a Pirate Day website. You've read about it in Dave Barry's blog, you see? The stuff I know, you could write a book. Maybe you caught one of our radio TV interviews, maybe just stumbled onto the site while Googling around and blah, blah, blah. Go down a bit. I don't know why they're doing this. See if you can find out why they're doing it and get back to me, all right?
Okay.
Well, here's this bloke again. Shall I take him again? One last time, and then you're out. 3 strikes and you're out. Paul.
I'm here.
Paul.
I got let down by my service provider. Sorry about that, Nick. Yes, today is, and it was on Nick Ferris's show while he was eating illegal foreign people or something this morning, that is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. And I thought perhaps in honour of that, it would be a good idea to have a little game.
Go on.
Everybody who rings in has to do the biggest aha that they can and say something piratish. But because it's International Talk Like a Pirate Day, as many people from as many different countries have to call in and do the aha in their native accent, and they have to say something in their native tongue that's very piratey and then tell us what it was.
Yeah, we won't be doing that anytime soon, but thanks for the suggestion, Paul. I wish that he'd got cut off permanently. Never mind, eh? But thanks for trying, all right.
Okay.
Cheers, mate. So another satisfied customer. Here is Waltham Abbey. Hello, Vic.
Hi, Nick.
Vic.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Right, just a little bit of information. I never knew this, but I was away on holiday, and I didn't realise that bananas, actually, when they grow, are a vegetable.
What?
Bananas are a vegetable?
Yeah, when they first grow. Did you know that?
That sounds like one of the silliest things I've ever heard in my life. No, what are you talking about?
It is true.
What do you mean, when they first grow?
When they're green, they are a vegetable.
And when they're yellow, they're a fruit?
It's not until they become yellow that they are actually a fruit.
Says who?
Says a plantation in St Lucia.
Well, I suppose they'd know, wouldn't they?
I should think they might.
So,
but I'm 70-odd now, and that's the first time I've ever known that. And that's what I was told by a plantation person, that they're actually a vegetable, and when they're first grown, why they're green, and as soon as they go to yellow, they go to a fruit. I don't know if that's the same with a tomato.
I'll investigate further.
Interesting, isn't it?
It's intriguing. Thanks a lot, Vic.
Okay, bye.
I don't believe a word of it. But did you know, by the way, that a peanut is not a nut?
I did not know that.
This is a Third Rock from the Sun thing. Third Rock from the Sun is could be my favourite comedy programme of all time. And they had Roseanne's sister. Do you remember Roseanne's thin sister? I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head. But anyway, she was the guest star. A very annoying woman. She kept giving people facts, you know, like that man just did.
Useless facts.
Yeah, useless facts that no one believes. And she says, not a lot of people know this, but you know the peanut is not a nut? I didn't know this.
I didn't.
The stuff you learn off TV. It's not a nut, it's a legume, apparently.
Interesting. I'll store it with the other useless information.
Yeah, do that, yeah, in the bin, yeah. Here is South Mims. Oh, Jackie.
Hello there.
Jackie O.
Hi, I phoned up earlier to speak to Edwina, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I hope she's still listening, because she was saying that they don't have cooking in school anymore.
Right.
Well, we do.
You do?
We do. We have GCSE cooking. Food technology, it's called now.
What? Food technology?
Food technology.
I.e. cooking?
I.e. cooking.
Are you a
yes, I'm one of them.
You involved with this?
Yes, both so.
Are you a food...
I'm not a food technician.
Right.
I teach something else.
What do you teach? Don't say media studies or I'll hang up on you straight away.
I teach psychology.
Psychology? Oh, like I said. Bye.
Bye.
Now, hang on a minute. You teach psychology?
Yeah.
Well, I studied psychology at university. I've got a BSc honours degree in psychology. No one can believe it. It sounds very impressive. It actually means that I know nothing.
You sort of know about things about human behaviour.
No, not really. Not more than anybody else does, just by watching humans.
I don't know. I think you've got quite good insight into human behaviour.
Well, I probably got it just hanging out at the bus stop. You ask me anything about psychology, I won't know the answer.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I probably won't either.
Well, ask me the simplest thing you can think of.
Name me one psychologist that studied children's behaviour.
I don't know.
Oh, you do. You do.
Well, that could be any psychologist. They all study children's behaviour, don't they?
I just gave one that you could perhaps name off the top of your head.
No. No.
No? Piaget?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do. You just didn't want to confess.
Well, I didn't do developmental psychology. I went for the more wishy-washy social psychology. Once I got past the first year, my electives were all stuff that you could just make up in the exam rather than remember facts.
Can you remember any social psychologist?
Well, what's to remember? It's all the study of the bleeding obvious, isn't it?
Was that your main thing, psychology? Then what were you going to do with it?
Principally, I was going to go to the student union bar and get hammered every night. That's what I was going to do, and I just had to study something in order to be able to do that.
No long-term plan, then?
Well, I wanted to be a DJ. The only other thing I've ever wanted to be was a skiing instructor, and not much call for that in London.
No.
But, yeah, I wanted to be a DJ.
I take it you can ski well?
Well, I used to be able to hot dog. You know what that is?
No, I haven't got a clue.
It's when you go down a mountain with expending far too much effort, as opposed to going down in a straight line. You do all sorts of ridiculous tricks that to impress your mates with.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. Until you fall flat on your face and get a mouthful
So now
of
you're
snow.
at LBC?
Yeah, that's right.
So you can use your psychology on Chris, can't
So
you?
let that be a lesson to all of you. Thanks a lot,
and
Jackie.
I teach. Goodness me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Are the kids an absolute nightmare on a stick?
No, they're not. They're absolutely wonderful.
Is that a yes?
No, they are lovely. I love my children at my school.
Right. How old are they?
I teach between 11 and 18 years of age.
Good grief. Do you wear a flak jacket?
No, I don't. I don't need to.
All right. Good for you, Jackie. Long may that continue.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Hey, the Mobos are on this evening.
Are you recording it?
No.
Oh.
Has anyone got shot yet? One thing that we haven't heard a word about that was supposed to happen earlier on today, and I can't believe that there hasn't been not a word in the Evening Standard, nothing on our news, and this comes around only once a year, and will be probably all over your rabid tabloids tomorrow. It was the very prestigious Rear of the Year Awards.
Oh yeah, who was it this year?
Well, I'm keen to find out. So that'll be your task for the next 60 seconds.
Okay, I'm sure someone will call in and let us know.
Google Rear of the Year. I double dare you.
I don't think I want to go down that route.
We haven't got time for this. Do you think if I went early to the travel, it would be a very bad thing to do?
I don't know if Alan will be ready for you yet.
We're prevaricating.
All right, I'll have a look for.
Well, we'll just have a little chit chat then. So the Mobo Awards were, and the person that was supposed to be right at the forefront of this of the awards ceremony, the one who is expected to win sweep all before her, was that very well-known black woman, Amy Winehouse.
What?
Amy Winehouse? Isn't she a white Jewish woman? What's she got to do with black music, other than that she perhaps sings a bit of it sometimes? I thought that you had to actually be black.
Well, it's music of black origin, isn't it?
Yeah.
But not.
But then you could say that.
The
Well, you could say that all music is of black origin. I mean, it all goes back to Robert Johnson, doesn't it? So that would include the Arctic Monkeys, for instance. Well, it would.
Yeah, but you can only pack a certain number of people in these arenas.
Can you imagine that the O2 are holding a music of white origin rally? No, not really. No. 7:45. Here's Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. And there are now to that.
Well, let's get back to it.
Ricelip. Hello, Julie.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Julie.
Yes, Nick. I know who won Rear of the Year.
Right, okay, well, so do I, but don't tell us, because I'll reveal it. Isn't it exciting?
Because it's been on the LBC News all day.
Yeah, like I said, it's been on LBC News all day. We've been hearing no end of it. Yeah, I knew that.
But I was really calling in. The guy you had on a few minutes ago, talking about bananas.
Yeah.
I was just sitting here and I thought I had to phone him because banana's not a fruit or a vegetable, it's a herb.
What?
It's a herb.
It's a herb?
Yeah. It's a herb.
What, like those, like those things that come in those tiny little glass jars?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is.
How can it be a
Go
herb?
and check. Go on.
Well, it's not in the herb section in Sainsbury's, is it? It's in the fruit section.
It's not a fruit because it hasn't got juice.
Because it hasn't got juice? That's not the definition of a fruit.
No, I know it's not the definition of fruit, but what's the definition of a herb?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
It's in a jar in Tesco's.
Yeah, exactly right, yeah.
Well, Google it and check, but I thought I don't want all those uninformed LBC listeners going off with the wrong idea.
Yeah, quite right too. All right, I'll check it out. Thanks a lot, Julie.
All right then.
Cheers,
Bye,
mate.
Nick.
Ta-da. Yeah, we'll look at it onto the internet because there's no misinformation on the internet, is there? How about South Norwood? It's Mr. Lister.
Good evening, Nick.
Philip.
I haven't got a list for you this week. I wanted to know, Nick, have you had any butter come through your letterbox recently?
No.
I better explain, Nick. You know you get all these leaflets come through your door, you know, pizzas, takeaway chicken.
I do.
Well, we've had leaflets, and I was looking at one of them about a week or so ago, and it offered me a free tub of 500 grams of butter.
Well, now, the word tub,
you know, like
sends alarm bells ringing in my ears.
Easy spreadable kind of butter.
Right, now, how do they do that?
I don't know. But what was puzzling about it, Nick, was that I live in a block of flats, and we had more than enough. I think we've got about 3 tubs. Everyone in the block's got 3 tubs. Yesterday, we had some more delivered. So we're overflowing with coupons for 500 grand tubs of butter. I wonder if this was, and I hate to, this is not meant as a joke, I wonder if it was widespread over London.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't mean that as a joke.
No, I didn't mean it as a joke.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't, Nick. And I just wondered whether it's just us in this road, because I've been talking to other people, and they said, no, we haven't had any butter.
Well, what does the brand begin, what letter does the brand begin with?
Hang on a second. It begins with the letter A.
A?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to ask you to send some to me.
Well, actually, I will, Nick, because
that's all right.
I've got a list. I've got a list pile, and I could send one for you and Chris, and you could have a field day there with sandwiches and.
Yeah, we could have a butter party.
Are there any recipes? Are there anything that butter is used more in than
Well, you use butter for everything, don't you?
You do, don't you? Yeah.
When you go to a restaurant, the reason that food tastes great, apart from there are actual experts making it, is that everything is full of salt, butter, and sugar.
Yeah.
And cream.
I mean, I love a nice baked potato.
Well, who doesn't?
Oh, wow. With sour cream and, wonderful. So I just wondered, whether people have got any suggestions on what we can do with it, I mean, we know how to do sandwiches and potatoes and,
Well, is it freezable?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't really know.
Because you'll have a year's supply.
Butter? You can't you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, it depends on what they've done to it to make it spreadable.
Yeah. Well, it also says, I didn't spot this, you can also have normal butter.
Right.
Yes, and it says here, to the value of £2.10.
Can you choose another brand of butter?
Well, I suppose some supermarkets used to, didn't they? You take it in there and they give you anything to the value of it.
Right.
But I think they've stopped that.
Yeah, well, that would defeat the object, really, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
was probably the chap who was tasked with sending around these leaflets. He just couldn't be bothered anymore, and so he just dumped them all at your place.
Yeah. So it's, I've been talking to friends. I said, I'm giving you a tub of butter for Christmas, wrap it up in paper, and if they send any more, I will.
Yeah, you're like the pied butter of Norwood.
Of South Norwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, Nick, as I say, I haven't got any list for you, at the moment.
Because you're a bit full up at the moment?
Full up with butter,
yeah, that's right. Your eyes are crossed, and you can't think straight.
Nick,
yeah.
Go
on.
Mention. I was looking at a certain newspaper the other day. I won't mention the name.
Was it The Sun?
No.
Mirror? Star?
It's one that we've been talking about for the past months and months and months.
Oh, yeah.
The value of the dollar. In 1982, a dollar was a dollar, right? How much do you think it is today? The buying power.
In 1982... Okay, if that's the base level, a dollar in 1982 got you a dollar's worth of goods.
Yeah, what would it buy today?
1982, that's quite some time ago.
Yeah.
I would say...
I was very surprised when I saw it.
60 cents.
Lower.
Lower than... it's like Brucey. Lower than 60, you say?
Lower.
Well, you're just going to have to tell me.
46 cents, which
really?
Seems incredible, doesn't it, really, when...
It does, yeah.
When you think about it.
Mind you, in America, wages have kept pace.
Yeah.
I mean, we think that we're doing well over here if we can, afford bricks around us and a roof.
Yes.
In America, they're not happy unless they can actually walk into their fridge.
Yeah, I mean, the fridges, the fridges over here are getting very, very big.
Yeah.
That people feel,
But they have fridges over there the size of flats in this country. Yeah.
And also, I believe they do the double fridges, aren't they, some of them?
Some of those fridges are en suite.
Yeah, and some other people go down there and have a good stock up, and then, in case there's any emergencies or anything like that.
Well, you want to do that with your butter.
That's a good idea.
When the big one is dropped by Russia, Vlad the Insaner is shaking his sabres at us, and you want a good stock of butter and some duct tape.
Yeah, it's like the old butter mountains. Do you remember the old days with the common market? They used to say we had wine lakes.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get our crampons on and we'll climb it together.
Yeah. Anyway, all the best, Nick.
Thanks, Philip. Ta-da, this is LBC.
Nick Abbott.
Do you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
Ilford. Ahmet.
Hello.
Yes, Ahmet.
Ahmet, yeah, that's all right. Good evening, Nick.
How are you?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
Yes, very good.
I just listened. I heard you your banana debate.
Yes, our big controversial banana debate. Yeah.
I might add some more a spanner in the works here. I was looking it up the other day. Actually, I was discussing it with my wife, having a long debate, and I've discovered that it's actually both.
Both what?
Both a fruit and a herb.
But not a vegetable.
But not a vegetable.
Glad to hear it. It's a fruit and a herb.
Yeah, what I read, if I can understand it correctly, was the banana itself contains seeds, giving it the traits of a fruit. But ever since, I can't remember what year, since they were mass-produced and they become sterilised, the seeds have actually shrunk. And it comes from a plant that's not called a banana tree, it's a banana plant, because the trunk of the plant hasn't actually got the same fibrous material as what a tree has, and it's considered a herbaceous plant or something. So it's got traits of both.
Bananas have seeds?
Yes.
Where?
Inside. They've shrunk, they're sterilised. Modern bananas are sterilised, and the seeds within them are mostly no good, and they're shrunk to basically small little bits in the middle.
Right. Well, you know...
If you cut a banana in half, straight down the middle, you'll see them. Little star shape of seeds going around the middle.
So, if they hadn't sterilised a banana, it would actually have inedible seeds in the middle of it?
Yes, I believe. It's just what I discovered.
Well, that's just stunning, don't you find? I mean, the banana, I believe, is the most eaten vegetable. In fact, I think people buy bananas more than any other food item that doesn't include Wrigley's Extra. I think that's actually true.
Probably. I mean, it's a good fruit. It's a good fruit.
Yeah.
Stroke herb.
That's right.
But I do know I do know that this is from school, that the banana plant, almost every banana plant, if I could be wrong here, it comes from the same plant. If you know what I'm saying, everything, all the plants we know of today have been cloned from a parent plant, as it were.
I find that very disturbing.
So do I, and it also means that if a bacterium comes along to wipe out a banana plant, it'll probably get all of them.
Yeah. And there goes my daily sandwich.
Exactly. Yeah. There goes my milkshake.
Well, that's very upsetting news. Thanks a lot, Ahmet.
So take care of the banana.
All right. Yeah, that's right.
Have a good day.
Free the banana. Let's get its seeds back. Poor little thing's been sterilised. Right, well, we're going to do the Rear of the Year thing. I'll go over recent winners and today's happy couple of winners after the news. Isn't it exciting? Well...
LBC 97.3.
Nick Abbott.
Everything is going extremely well.
So I'll go through some of these Rear of the Years, but this banana thing just keeps getting worse and worse. We've got somebody else who says, oh no it isn't, to everything that's been said so far. I'll get to that in a minute. But first, Beckenham. Oh, Jim.
Give me back my doubloons, you Sassenach dog. That was a Scottish pirate.
That's very good, Jim. It is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. I still haven't found out exactly what that's about.
Well, I'm wearing an eye patch at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's going to help.
Well, it helped to get you into the character.
Yeah, and I was going to go into another radio station, you know, one of these dodgy ones, but I thought, stay with LBC, it's better.
Good man. All right, well, I'm glad that you took part.
Okay, then.
Thanks, Jim.
Good night.
Cheers. Sassenach, by the way, is not a soft southerner like we are.
Really?
Apparently it's someone who comes from the lowlands. Apparently a Sassenach is, I believe, a southern Scottish person. Is you still there, Jim? No, he's not. He might have known. Well, I bet he wouldn't. It's someone who comes from the border regions. That's a Sassenach. I don't believe that has anything to do with us down here. We're beyond Sassenachs. We're like even beyond thinking about.
I've never heard of that term in my life.
Sassenach.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to get out more? You want to get out to Scotland more?
I haven't ventured anywhere further than Leeds.
No, well, that would be my best suggestion to you. Don't.
Oh.
Or if you do, don't open your mouth.
Oh.
It's Catford. Oh, Trixie.
Oh, who are you, mate?
Yes, Trixie.
Well, I'm just getting into the
spirited things.
Very good,
So
yeah.
Sassenach, is that something you put in your pizza?
It is.
Oh, right.
It's the thing that gives it spice.
Oh,
Sliced Sassenach. That's what they eat in Glasgow.
Oh, right, okay. So what is it, actually? I'm
What's
sorry,
what?
I'm getting a little bit lost here because I'm listening to the show on the telephone.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not in stereo?
No, it's kind of in one ear.
Oh, the stuff you've missed, Trixie. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh, my gosh. I tell you what, you invited Edwina round for a pizza and you
Yeah.
haven't done that for me.
Everyone must come.
Is that because she's such a nice lady and I'm no lady?
Everyone who's listening to this right now can come over to my place for a pizza any time they like. Here's my phone number.
Hey, banana, fruit or herb?
It's a fruit.
Yeah, what I've got here, I've got a definitive answer from Ask Oxford.
What's that?
Ask the Oxford Dictionary or .com.
Oh, it's something off the World Wide Wait.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, then it must be true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Anyway, is it a fruit or herb? It says both. A banana is the yellow thing that you peel and eat, and it's undoubtedly a fruit because it's got the seeds of the plant, those little specks in the middle.
I did not know that they were seeds, but they've been shrunk by having been sterilised.
No,
That's awful.
No, they haven't been sterilised. They are sterile. There's a difference between sterilised and sterile. They are sterile. They cannot give birth to other baby bananas.
Oh.
But
well, how do they
well, that's
promulgate?
The problem. They are actually. It was in the news a couple of years ago. They don't know how much longer bananas can actually exist in their current form, and whether we will actually have a banana shortage.
Well, this is quite, if you think this through, this is actually quite worrying, because what we've done is we've removed nature from the equation completely. And I know that most of the stuff in the supermarket has had, man has done the bee's work and has cross-pollinated and so on. But if all bananas actually do come from the same plant, and to get a new banana bush, plant, tree, whatever you call it, you have to take, presumably, a cutting off one, and then it's like... It's like how the royal family used to be, you know, in days of old, when they just used to have hot royal relations with each other.
It's like 1984, where they were just reproducing from one egg. They divided the egg so many times, and then they had all these clones from the same egg. Well, anyway,
it can't be good.
Well, yes, but the thing is, when the banana is sterile, the seeds don't grow. Therefore, it's more edible. So anyway, that's the fruit aspect of it.
Right.
However, as the gentleman said a couple of calls before, it's also technically regarded as a herbaceous plant or herb and not a tree because the stem doesn't contain true woody tissue. That's the difference.
Right.
All right, but it is a fruit.
So it's fibrous.
It's a fibrous stem. It's not a true woody tissue. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, okay. And as for your supermarket, I'm angry. You've got a Sainsbury's that doesn't have things moving around all the time.
No, they seem to have decided that where things are is where they sit.
Oh, which side of town are you? You're the good side.
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, you're the good side of town. You're the posh side, the sort of northern side, I should imagine.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to tell you.
No, you don't. You don't. I don't want to know where you live. Not until I.
Well, listen. Here's the address.
Yeah,
18.
You know, I didn't expect you to give that to me either. Is it possible? I don't know. Have you eaten plantain?
That's just small bananas, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
They fry them, right?
I've never eaten plantain, but they're not as sweet as bananas.
Yeah, so you have to, don't you fry them in butter?
Mm-hmm.
Here, Philip, get some of that butter and stick a small banana in it.
Well, you could do it, yeah, in it. And you can make, I tell you, banana butter's nice.
Banana butter?
Mash the banana up.
And then fry it?
No, spread it on bread if you run out
Well, that's just a banana sandwich.
Well, yeah, but if you run out of butter, it's still quite nice. Never mind. The other thing, oh gosh, I tried to get this.
I know you're trying to help,
trying to be informative.
And I'm not assisting in any way.
No, you're not. I'm trying to be informative, and you just.
I'm standing in your way.
Exactly. You've got to stop doing this. I mean, I prepare these things, and then you.
Do you? Is this you
down.
prepared?
I do. I sometimes have newspapers here just to glean out one tiny story.
Right.
Yes, I do.
Anyway.
But I've lost, sadly, my train of thought. So I shall sadly have to depart from the
Okay, catch up with it at the next station, all right?
All right, my darling.
Best of luck, ta-da.
Take care.
It's, Harrow, Daisy.
Hi, Nick. Good evening, this is Daisy.
I know.
All that has been said is correct.
What?
Regarding the banana.
Go on.
And it's the plant.
Yeah.
And as the lady said, it hasn't got a trunk because the trees compact and becomes a trunk. In its green state...
Well, what's it called then? A stalk?
It's a plant. It's just called a plant.
Yeah, but what's the...
A child could just push it over because it's so, not all that...
A banana tree?
It's a banana plant.
Well, banana plant. They're huge, aren't they?
Yes, all the leaves becomes compact and form the trunk.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, and in its green state, it has to be boiled like you'd boil an Irish potato.
An Irish potato?
You know how you boil a potato? We call it Irish potato. In Jamaica, we call it Irish potato.
Oh, okay.
It has to be boiled, and it's a vegetable then.
Right.
And it has a lot of iron in it in that state. When it's ripened, it's a ripe banana, and it has a lot of potassium in it.
And how does it do that then? Don't answer that question.
I don't know how it's transferred. And then the plantain is a larger than the banana.
Oh, it's bigger.
That has to be cooked. It cannot be eaten raw.
Right.
It has to be cooked.
And you know that because...
Because I'm a Jamaican.
Right.
We had plantations in Jamaica.
Huh.
Yes, my father used to plant. The plantains and the green bananas. And also breadfruit.
What's a breadfruit?
Breadfruit is a vegetable which is called breadfruit because when it's roasted it becomes very, very light and we eat it like bread.
So, right. So have you ever eaten a banana that was wild and not some sort of Frankenstein fruit?
It has to be planted. And I tell you what, when it's growing, it sends up a shoot for the young one. The old one dies off. It only puts out one bunch of banana. Then it dies, but before it dies up, it sends up a shoot of a smaller plant. So that's how you keep on getting a plant of,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is a lot more than we actually needed to know about the fruit that we pick up in our local supermarket, but it's nice to know anyway. Thanks a lot, Daisy.
It's all right, you're welcome.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Bye.
So, has anybody won a Mobo yet? Has Amy Winehouse even showed up? If she doesn't show up, she won't win, of course. That's the same with all of these awards. And I'm sure that they all know that they're going to win before they show up, because the question that the agent will say, because they'll go through their agent. I mean, they won't call up Amy, will they? They'll call up her people, and her people will say, well, she'll show up if she wins an award. And they'll say, well, she'll win an award if she shows up.
Oh, clever.
And then they'll go around and around like that. Well, she's not going to show up if she's not going to win an award. Well, if she doesn't show up, she won't win an award.
So the people that are missing... they
won't win an award, no.
Won.
Because it's too embarrassing, because they're trying to, make out that this is a big deal. All award ceremonies are ridiculous, am I right? There isn't a single one, with the possible exception of the Oscars, because it's got so much money poured into it, and it has such a giant and prestigious history, that there's the only award ceremony that's actually worth watching. If they could telescope it into 15 minutes, it would be great.
But it's not worth watching, because
it goes on for 4 hours. Yeah, you're right.
And it gets longer every single year.
It does. So watch the edited highlights, because it goes out at sort of 2 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah.
So just wait till the next day, and you can see who won best costume, and best makeup, and sound, and editing, and all of that stuff that nobody really cares about.
Yes.
So we still haven't found out about the Rear of the Year. I will get to that with both hands shortly. It's 8:15. Here's Travel Now with Nikki Selman.
Thank you very much.
It's Burton-on-Trent. Oh, Adrian.
Hello, Nick. How are you doing?
I am all right, mate.
Yeah, so anyway, on your pirate theme, from a point at sea...
To the circles of your mind, this is the new Radio Caroline. Correct.
Do that. Somebody, it's got to be done, hasn't it?
They came back, didn't they, Radio Caroline? Ding, ding.
Well, they've never really gone away. I mean, it's not the same, but we don't want to talk about other stations now.
No, of course not, no.
But it's the wait. So you can listen to it. Wait, what was you thinking of, anyway?
What?
What was you thinking of when you meant they came back?
I thought some circular went, or maybe it was Radio London. One of those pirates just came back in some form or other. I can't remember why. Somebody contacted me that Radio Luxembourg was coming back.
I heard something about that, but I don't know if it's come and gone away again. But they're all sorts of web-based, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore. No, because it used to be Radio Luxembourg. You used to be listening to it in the dead of night. And what used to, our old, of course now you've got iPods and your MP3 players, which are giving you super stereo sound.
Yeah.
In the old days, you were rubbish when I were a lad. It used to be this terrible old transistor radio that you had one earpiece to. Yeah. And it was like listening to someone fry bacon, and it just went in and out, because it was they're like crackly medium wave, and they were broadcasting actually from Luxembourg. Yeah, but a lot of people didn't realise that they were actually coming from a different country, all the way over there.
Hence the name, radio.
That's right, yeah.
Well, I mean, geekily enough, the further you went up the medium wave band, the worse it got, didn't it?
I don't know.
Just like Caroline and stuff was on 558, that was quite clear at night, but the further you got up, I don't know why it got worse, it just got worse, because the old station used to be on, used to drift like. And that's scary, because that's been like 10, 14 years ago, isn't it? So.
Well, that's right. I think at night it also becomes either better or... I think it becomes better at worst, better at night. Easier to listen to stations that are further away on medium wave at night. For some reason, I can't quite remember. It's something like the signal bounces off the atmosphere at night. But why doesn't it do that during the day?
There's probably some gig in there.
Mr. Engineer Man, do you have got any idea?
The ionosphere comes down at night.
The what?
The ionosphere comes down at night, and so it bounces the signal across it.
The ionosphere comes down at night?
Yeah.
How does it do that, then?
That bit I don't know. I would assume, because it's night time, it's cooler, and so it settles.
Oh, that would make sense.
That sounds like a sort of beat-rate movie, doesn't it?
The ionosphere comes down at night. And so, and by that method, you could listen to stations in another country on medium wave.
There was one that that's dead now as well. That used to be based in Ireland, and they used to switch off after 7 p.m.
That was Laser, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Wasn't that Laser?
No, that was they were pirates, so they didn't care anyway. It was the one named after the ocean.
Atlantic?
Yeah.
Oh, Atlantic, yeah. I don't know anything about radio. I've got no idea. But I got that one right.
You just take the vast amounts of money they pour on you, but
yeah.
Other than that.
That's right.
You know, it's actually here now. There's a phone, apparently, come out in America that you can wear on your wrist.
Well, I'd seen this a while ago in Japan, where, of course, they get everything before we do, that they had that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
And that you have to speak into it. There are no buttons.
Yeah. You look a bit loony, I think.
Well, people look crazy now anyway, wandering along the street, looking like they're shouting at themselves, but they're actually talking on an earpiece. I don't think you talk into your wrist, do you? Like Secret Service. But you've got an earpiece, and if you want to dial a number, you have to actually speak into it, and it's voice recognition. Yeah, it's got too small.
I thought you talked into your wrist, but honestly, I don't know that much. But I just accidentally found it while I was wasting massive amounts of time on the internet.
On the internet, yeah. Wasting time on the internet. Really? Do people do that?
Apparently so.
Hard to believe.
But, what else was I going to say to you? You've got through me now.
Well, make notes.
Yeah, I've got a note here. Lettuce. Oh, sorry, that's the shopping one.
All right. Well, as soon as you regain your consciousness, you call us back. All right.
That was what I was going to ask you. Have you got that other phone that's coming out? I don't want to advertise. But
what, the iPhone?
Yeah, you've been waiting months for that, have you?
Yeah, no. Well, the newspapers have figured out that it's going to cost you something like £1,500 for this thing over the course of 18 months, and that's just not worth it, is it?
It's like going back to the 1980s or something when they first came out with
Yeah, no. I mean, it looks cute enough, but no, I won't be going there, no.
That's another thing that baffles me. People say, oh yeah, now you're going to be able to watch TV on your phone. So like...
Why would anybody want to do that?
Yeah, because, like, the TVs are coming, like, massive screens, like the one you've got, like 52-inch or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you're going to watch it on your phone.
I know. I mean, how much television does a person actually need to watch that you would need to watch TV while you're going to work? I mean, that's just silly, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really understand this whole iPod thing, well, the MP3 phenomenon at all. I mean, I'd like one because they look cute and all, and everybody else has got one. But really, I mean, do you actually need musical accompaniment to your every walking step?
Well, actually, you can get a really cheap one now, a gig one for about 13 quid.
But this is irrelevant. My question stands. I mean, how much music does a person need in their lives?
Music. I listen to podcasts of you.
Right. Well, like I said, there's excellent value for money, and everyone should have one. Thanks a lot, Aid.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ta-ta. Yeah, no, it's just too much. I mean, I would like one because they look great, don't they?
It's a want, not a need.
Yes.
Right.
Strip your life from wants.
But then again...
But I don't want to.
But then again, Christmas is just around the corner.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's just worth sticking on the list. You never know.
I can't use mobile phones. I think there's something wrong with my head. I mean, I literally cannot put it to my ear for more than about... And I'm not kidding. More than about 10 seconds, and I feel as though it's boiling my brain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always have trouble trying to put it in the right place so that I can hear it properly.
Well, I just stick it near my head, because I've got that thin thing that everyone's got, and I have to put it on speakerphone and shout, because I really cannot put it next to my head. Maybe I just got a rogue model, because everybody else seems to be alright with it, or maybe there's something wrong with my brain. Don't say a word.
Right. But that doesn't make you look stupid, walking around just with the phone in your palm.
I don't use the mobile. I've got it switched off most of the time. I just don't like it.
What do you use it for, then? Just
for emergencies. That's right. Yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to call me at home.
Yeah. No one uses the home phone anymore.
I do.
Do you?
In fact, I've got to the point where you know those home phones that are wire-free, wireless.
Yeah.
Wire-free. Listen to me. I sound like my dad. I got rid of all of those because I read in a paper somewhere that it's like having a mobile phone mast in your house. And, you know, we're going to find out, as we will eventually find out that your underarm deodorant is what's given us all cancer. And I mean, we all are already fairly suspicious about the pesticides in our food. But these little everyday things that you use on a daily basis, that's what's killing us. I'm sure the tube is killing us. I mean, if you go to abroad to a warmer clime, you go somewhere down by the seaside, beside the sea, and you come back. And you look at the people on the tube; they all look like they're dying slowly. Everyone looks ill, and I've noticed this because I've been going in on the London Underground every morning in the rush hour, and I don't do that very often. And every time I do, it just amazes me how people can actually put up with this. Why isn't everybody just leaving London? I don't get it.
But the thing is, it's not London, I don't think, because even if you, I know, chose to live by the sea, you know, all very nice and everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, you might take a dip in the sea and get, you know, bitten by a poisonous jellyfish.
Well, don't go in the sea. I would never go in the sea. What do you want to go in the sea for? You know, there's things in the sea.
Wherever you go, there's things out to get us.
No, that's right. But people who go on the tube every day, which includes most of us, and I'm so glad I'm not involved in that mess. It's just a horrific way to start the day.
It's not that bad.
It's killing us. I'm certain of it. You know all that dust on the tube?
No.
Yes, the tube is absolutely full of dust.
Like the black soot.
If a train comes into the station, you virtually have to close your eyes because it pushes up so much dust into the air. That's not soot. That's the dead skin of the millions of people that have been travelling the tube over the last 100 years. That's what that is.
But surely that can only boost your immune system. You know, look for the positives.
Well, that's what they say. Don't be worrying about infections from toilet door handles and this, that and the other, which I do.
Do you?
Yes. Because it will actually make you stronger. But there comes a tipping point after which it's actually going to make you dead. And I'm sure that the tube is killing us slowly. I'm certain of it.
It's a fine line.
It's not a fine line. They're rubbish lines, each and every one of them, especially at 8:30 in the morning. Fine line. I went through Earl's Court tube station the other day, and they were giving station announcements in Italian.
Oh, yeah, they've just started doing that in the lifts in my tube station.
Why?
It's in Italian, French, and some other language I haven't identified yet.
Well, what are they saying? Please stand on the right.
Yeah, you know, you'll exit at the other end of this lift. And that's it. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's very inclusive, I suppose, but then the people whose languages aren't included will probably sue us for compensation.
Well,
here's an instruction that I'd like translated into every language under the sun. If you're wearing a backpack, take it off when you get into the carriage, or I'll kill you.
London's LBC 97.3.
Affirmative.
Here is Watford. Oh, Andy.
Good evening, Squire. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
I'm confused, mate. Your banana debate.
Yeah.
Right. It's a fruit because it's got seeds, but it's a herb because it's got, like, a fibrous stem. Is that what they were saying?
That's what they're saying.
So what's a tomato? That's classed as a fruit, but that's got a fibrous stem. That's not a herb as well, is it?
Oh, no.
Do you see what I mean? I'm just a plasterer, mate. I ain't got a clue about these things, but going by, like, some biology A-levels years and years ago.
So you've just thrown a bright red spanner into these works.
Big time.
So what is a tomato, because it has a fibrous stem?
And it's got seeds, and it's classed as a fruit, isn't it? So what they're saying about the fibrous stem makes it a herb, so why isn't a tomato classed that as well?
Thanks, Andy.
Sorry, mate, I really don't want to strap your evening.
Oh, no. I thought I'd left all that behind us. All right, we'll find out, no doubt.
Yes, mate.
Thank you, ta-ta. I'm not getting any help here at all, am I?
Afraid not.
Hey, we're talking about the sports score. So what is a tomato? It's not a fruit, is it? I thought it was a vegetable.
No, it's a fruit.
Well, it's in the vegetable section.
Well, maybe it's on the very end of it, next to the start of the vegetable section.
What, the corner doesn't count?
Yeah.
They were talking about the sports scores on the news. That nice man was talking about the championship scores, Championship League.
Yeah.
And this I've been carrying around for a little while now, and it's about the placement of the actual scoreline on your television screen while you're watching a match. A Facebook group. Facebook. That's where people go on. I tried to get onto that. Doesn't Ian Lee have a Facebook, MySpace, Facebook site thing?
Everyone has a Facebook site.
Not me, mate.
Really?
Well, maybe that's the thing where I've got two sites, but neither of them is anything to do with me. It's just people have taken my name and done one.
That's the MySpace.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know if you're on the Facebook yet. You're so behind the times.
Well, I don't care about any of that. It's all a giant waste of time, isn't it?
Well,
yes. No, I've got 3,000 friends. No, you haven't. None of them are your friends.
No, the one good thing is you do get to see all your old schoolmates again.
Well, that'd be awful.
Why?
Well, they'd be captains of industry, and then I'd have to tell them what I'm doing. How embarrassing.
Well, and you get to see their photos and see how much they've changed.
Yeah.
And see how much
how little hair they have. Yeah. No, I don't want to do that.
Oh. Okay, then.
I wouldn't be able to remember any of their names.
Well, I guess it all depends on if you got on with your schoolmates or not.
Well, I did, but,
you don't want to see them anymore.
Well, I don't have any... I haven't seen them for however many long years it is. What is it? 20 years. 20 years.
What, so now it'd just be a bit too awkward?
Well, I wouldn't know what their names are. Or I wouldn't recognise them unless I saw a picture of them as they were.
Yeah, I guess so.
But anyway, why would you want to do that? I mean, they're not your friends anymore. 20 years has gone by. It's not like you could just pick up where you left off, smoking a fag behind the bike sheds.
But that's what you do. People are, continuing where they left off. You know, they're all catching up and going, oh, do you remember this and remember that?
No, they're all catching up and they're going... That's what that's all about.
And is that such a bad thing?
Well, speaking as a highly religious person, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, it depends who with. Yeah.
No, seriously, people, you're wasting your time. Stop diddling around on Facebook space mate sites. They're all rubbish. Unless they're advertising with us, in which case it's a great step forward in human communications.
The thing is, it does pass the time when you're at home. If you think, oh...
Right, well, try picking up a book. No, I'm sorry. Picking up a book. What a silly thing to say.
Do you care to rethink your answer?
Yes. Try watching television. Flip through a magazine. Go out once in a while.
Or go on the Facebook.
And then just waste... And as soon as you turn the computer on, you start putzing about those sites, And you look up, and 5 hours have just disappeared, and you've done nothing. You've got nothing to show for it at all. You've achieved zero. True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the great evil of computers, is that they're a giant black hole of time.
What? So it feels like you're being productive, but in fact you've just lost.
Well, it's like television, but worse. Because if you watch TV, you're there actually doing nothing. It's a receptive medium. It's not a lean forward. It's a lean back medium. That's what they call it, don't they?
Unless you are invited to press the red button.
I never do that.
Okay.
I'm not picking up remotes. I do nothing. Once it's on, it's on. That's me. I'll be motionless until I'm asleep. No, but the lean forward medium is actually worse. I mean, what do you learn on the internet that you couldn't learn by watching the Discovery Channel, for instance? Nothing. Everything you need to know about Hitler and sharks, it's all there for you. On the net, meanwhile, I mean, you'll tootle away for 5 hours, and you'll retain none of that information because you've just been wasting your time. Am I right? Yes, I am.
Oh.
So anyway, this, and so I tried to dial up the Facebook. I can't remember why. It was probably to look at Ian Lee's site.
Yeah.
And so I filled out this ridiculous form, and I had to choose a password and all that rubbish that you have to go through. And then I got to this page, and I couldn't get any further.
What?
I couldn't actually access his site. Do I have to be a friend of his?
Yeah.
He has to...
You asked...
Poke me or something? What is it? Prod.
Well, poke is the word, but that's not how you become friends, by poking each other. You just you click on the thing that says add person, this person as a friend. You click on that, but it doesn't. You're not instantly friends. You have to wait for that person to log on and accept you.
Poke me back.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's a long drawn out process.
So I can't just look at his page like it's a website.
No, it's. The Facebook is quite private, and you can pick and choose who.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Why?
Oh, I've never heard such a load of old rubbish in all my life. Stop wasting your time, people. I mean it.
Well, if there is a person you don't want to see from your old school, then you can...
let's start making a list, shall we?
You can ignore them.
Let's make a list of the people that we don't want to see from this business. We'll start with the A's.
Right.
I'll include myself. Barnet. Hello, Anthony.
Hello.
Anthony.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, thanks.
Good. Yeah, I agree with you about this Facebook stuff. It's a load of waste of time. It's a load of rubbish.
It is, yes.
They're just constantly always on it anyway. And that's not what I called for. Have you seen these new alien cameras that are popping up everywhere?
What, the tiny little ones?
There's like a pole that goes up and across the road, and then there's like 3 or 4, or depending on how many lanes there are.
Yeah.
They've got these little infrared, what are they?
They look like, sort of small... They're tubes, rather than those big square ones, aren't they?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I have noticed those, and every time I see one, I think it's very suspicious.
I get worried. I actually get scared.
I mean, how many cameras do we need pointing at us in this country? You can't move 3 inches without having a camera point at you.
And they've got little red lights on it, and, if you have an accident, thinking someone's trying to shoot.
Yeah. As if you see the red spot on your shirt, run. Duck and cover. All right, it's a really bad reception, Anthony, so I'm going to have to leave you, but thanks a lot, all right. Yeah, he's brought up something that's been bothering me for a while, because you get used to certain types of camera, like the yellow Gatso speed cameras, which, by the way, I have... remind me to go back to the Sky Sports thing.
Yeah.
The amount of topics that I start... When I'm on the air and I never finish, what is wrong with me? Anyway, the speed cameras. For a long while now, the government has been saying that speed cameras are there for a very good reason. They're there to reduce the number of accidents on our roads. Is that right?
No.
No, it isn't. They're actually there to increase the amount of money they're getting from us. It's a tax. But the government has always been saying, oh, no, it's not, and here are these statistics to prove it. And as soon as they come up with statistics, alarm bells should be going off in your mind, and you know they're lying. And here, we've come to find out, we're right all along. The speed camera programme was thrown into disarray recently after the government admitted that its casualty calculations could be flawed. You can just strike the word could out of that sentence and insert are. The Department for Transport, the DFT, justifies the use of more than 6,000 cameras across the country on the grounds that they cut road deaths and serious injuries. But now these figures have been called into question, and critics say this could undermine the entire programme, which brings in... Guess how much money they make off us a year, just through this. It's criminal. £100 million. You're quite right.
I was going to say
staggering? It had relied on the figures gathered by the police. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the police the main beneficiaries of the money that comes in from speed cameras? Yes, so it would be beholden upon them to tell us that they're doing a super fantastic job and everything's fine. According to the police, the number of serious injuries fell between 1996 and 2004. However, the corresponding figures from hospitals, which are the people that actually receive the injuries from crashes on the road, increased.
Huh?
The police are saying that accident casualties are going down. Police are saying that, thereby justifying the use of speed cameras.
Right.
Hospitals, on the other hand, who are in the front line of treating with people who are injured by accidents, say that they have seen an increase since speed cameras have come in.
Right. Okay.
We have put our entire road safety programme into a box marked speed cameras, Kevin Delaney, the Metropolitan Police's former head of traffic, said. The figures were justification for the policy, and if they're called into doubt, then the whole thing is undermined. This is an ex-policeman. Speed cameras have been a crucial part of the government's road safety strategy. Well, no, they haven't. That's what they say, but it's got nothing to do with it. Okay, for a start, every time you pass a speed camera, am I right? Are your eyes on the road? No. Your eyes are looking at your speedo to make sure that you don't get flashed. Is that a safe way to be driving? Looking at what's happening inside your car? No, of course not.
But you're going a bit slower, and that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're not looking where you're going.
Yeah. Okay, so you're not looking where you're going because you're looking at your speedometer.
Yes, all the time you're looking at your speedometer.
But if you were to have an accident, you would cause less damage, though, because of the speed you're now
But if you were
travelling.
looking where you were going, you'd be much less likely to cause an accident. It set itself the target of cutting the number of people who were killed and seriously injured in 2010 to 60% of the annual average between 94 and 98. And they're saying that they're achieving that target. But what's actually the truth is, from the hospitals, is that it's got worse. Paul Smith, founder of the Safe Speed campaign and a critic of speed cameras, dismissed the government's decision to review the way in which it compiled the figures. He said the further investigation... Okay, so in other words, people have said, hang on a minute, your figures are all wrong. And so the Department for Transport has said, well, we'll investigate further.
Yeah.
Which is always the way. Well, we can't comment while investigations are undergoing.
And
while a review is in progress.
Will the investigation go on for the next...
Ever, yeah. He said the further investigation itself is an obfuscation. Excellent word. It's putting off the evil day when they will have to admit that their statistics and their targets have not been working for a decade. In other words, they're lying to us. And on the subject of those tiny suspicious cameras, I would like to know what they are, because either they're replacing those road cameras, or they're for something entirely different, very suspicious. And we all know that those CCTV cameras that are everywhere, as I can tell you myself, my car was broken into not 3 feet from a CCTV camera that was recording everything in colour and stereo, and the guy still broke the car window and ripped off my glove box thing and nicked my sat-nav. It's all on video. It's probably in surround sound. And the only thing... And it didn't prevent him from doing it. It won't catch the evil perpetrator. All it does is, all CCTV cameras do, is give exciting footage to play on the 9 o'clock news. And that's true. It's 8:45. Here's Travel Now with Nikki Selman.
Well, I really like you. Do you like me?
Here's Derbyshire. Hello, David.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
All right, thanks.
Actually, it's Alan. I've already got. I borrowed my mate's phone. I'm without one this evening.
Okay.
But I feel partly responsible for your MySpace site.
Right, MySpace. That's. I think I've got 2 up there that are in my name.
I think I feel responsible for both of them.
Okay.
Because the people have used my photograph at once.
They what?
They've used my photograph.
For what?
Their actual site. It seems to get everywhere, this photo does.
A photograph of you?
No, a photograph of you, which I took.
Right. I'm lost.
Right. This, a few years ago, I took a photograph of you. It's on AID's site, and it just keeps appearing around the web. And it's just a picture of you and AID, but people have cut it off and then just used it for your site.
Right. Well, that was when I was young and beautiful. It was my duty to be beautiful.
I don't think you've ever been young and beautiful, Nick. Anyway, I've got to go. Good night.
Ta-ta, yeah. Here is Merton. Hello, James. Hang on a minute. Pressing. James?
Yes?
James.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it's just about the revenue from the speed cameras.
Yeah.
Well, of course it's all going to the police. I mean, look at their status over the decades, you know, in the vehicles that they drive.
Yeah, every time I see it, there's a little thing that goes off in the back of my mind. Why are these people driving BMWs?
Well, this is it. I mean, you know, back in the 60s, it was the Austin Aggravation, the little Allegros, the Panthers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then come the 70s, when I was covered in acne, it was the P6 Rovers.
Yes.
Yeah, then come the 80s, it was the SDI Rovers, the Jambays.
Right.
Then come the 90s, it was Vauxhall Cavaliers and Ford Escorts.
Yeah.
And now they're all driving around in BMs, Mercs and Range Rovers.
Yes, why is that? I mean, surely the police engineers are going to soup up the car anyway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an ordinary production car, so they don't need to go to... They don't need an M5. They don't need something that comes fast, because they're going to make it fast.
Yeah, true. This is true.
So why do they need a BMW?
I don't know, but see, my only fears is the way that it's escalating. In the next decade, are they all going to be driving around in Bentleys and Rollers?
Yes, it will be like Miami Vice. They'll be chasing crims in Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah, with a little butler leaning out the window. Ninor.
Hey, you've thought about this, James. Well done, thanks a lot.
Indeed, I have.
Ta-ta.
No worries.
Yeah, that's right. It's an outrage that they're keeping the money and they're spending it to further pad their own bottoms.
But how do you know that money is coming from the speed camera revenue?
It is. I think they get to keep speed camera revenue up to a certain amount, whatever that amount might be.
I always thought that it was reinvested. That's what.
Yeah, it reinvested in brand new Mercedes Benzes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which can catch fast because there's faster cars out there, so they need fast cars.
Well, that's my entire point. You don't. I mean, you could get a 20 grand, a £15,000 car and soup it up to go extra fast.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend £70,000 or whatever they cost on something that's fabulous, and then soup it up. Completely unnecessary. And you know I'm right. Plus, it's German. Why can't we support British... I mean, there must be some car that's made here. I mean, I know that unless you go exotic, there's no actual British car company anymore. Bristol, I think, is still British, but
we don't make.
I don't think I've hardly ever seen a Bristol car. You pass them a lot because they got that showroom on in Kensington.
Yeah.
Could you still call that Kensington? Yeah. I suppose you could, more or less. Between Earl's Court and Holland Park, on that corner there, they've got the cars in the window. I wonder if they ever sell any.
But we're not known for our fast cars, so you know.
Well, no, that's not true. The British cars are they're all fast. They're all these exotic makes. Like Aston Martin was a British car, and as I say, Bristol, they're supposed to be really fast. And every car that's British had some sort of speed thing about it. He said, and then I'm thinking Austin Allegros. No, maybe not. But everything that's British now, all these cars that come as kits, and that some bloke nails up in his shed and will cost you £300,000, which I think is what amounts to the British car industry these days. A couple of names, and that's it. They're all built for speed, aren't they? It's for rich people to have as a fifth car that they'll take out on a nice day because it hasn't got a roof, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They'll use it once a year. You know, like Jamiroquai, people like that.
Wouldn't it be good if the police didn't have, they had soft-top cars for the summer?
That would be silly.
Well,
why don't we just send them all to the south of France so they can enjoy themselves down there? We'll just carry on regardless. Here is, are we taking a break now? Yes, we are. Let's do that straight away.
I've decided to go part-time, Joe.
Correct. Ealing. Oh, Terry.
Good evening, Nick, darling. I normally don't ring this early, but I'm ringing you because I'm interested in this camera thing. Did we mention the Jaguar? Is that a British car?
It's
Jaguar?
No, it's American, I think.
Is it Aston Martin?
They might, America, it's the same company, Aston Martin. I think it's all owned by Ford, isn't it? Well, Ford just unloaded Aston Martin to management, I think. I'm not entirely sure. No, it was some sort of racing driver, and his...
I thought the Jaguar was English.
Well, it certainly used to be. They might make them here, I'm not too sure, but I think it's owned by Ford.
Okay. Now, I rang up about the driving because I went and did a speed awareness course because I was speeding in Crowthorne.
A speed awareness course?
Yeah. So what they do is, I had 6 points on my licence, and I was going to get another 3, and then I had the little, when it came through from the police, I had a little letter saying that I could apply for a speed awareness course, which I paid £70 instead of the £60 or £65, and the 3 points would not be allocated to my licence.
Right.
They would be taken off, and they'd be null and void. But it took about 3 hours, and I went to Crowthorne, and I'm very interested to hear you saying about these cameras, because in the discussion and the lectures we had all through the evening of 3 hours, there was a gentleman there, policeman, I presume, and he said there was 280 cameras at one point in Thames Valley Police, which is quite big.
Yeah.
My speed, I'd had 2 of them, one of them when my daughter went to live in Marlow. I had one in Marlow for the previous year, and another one in Maidenhead. And these are places which is used all the time, coming up and down, up and down, up and down. There's 30-mile-an-hour limit, both of them.
Right.
And I was doing 34.
You, criminal, Terry.
I know. I feel really bad.
You're a rebel, and you'll never be any good.
I know, I'm not a good person. But the 200, it was very interesting when he asked us how many cameras do you think is there, and we didn't know. We thought maybe 500. We didn't know. And it came out with 200. But at only one point in time, he asked the question, how many of these cameras are sort of being used, that there's a film in them?
Yeah.
And we thought, most of them, we said about like 150 or 200. 30.
30?
Yeah. I was shocked.
You know, maybe what these cameras are, because I read a little while ago about something that they've got new cameras coming in that don't need film. They just store everything without film, so they'll always be on. Maybe that's what they are.
No, he said that the reason being there was only 30. It was very expensive to go around every day or however it took long for this film to run, say a week, to change them and put new ones in. And he didn't say to us, he said that they would be changed at any one given time.
Right. No, well, what I'm saying is, Terry, that I think they've got cameras now that they don't need to do that. They just send it back to base automatically by wire. They don't need some bloke to go and unscrew the back of it.
No, he just said there was only 30 at one time working, and we did ask about it. We were very shocked, all of us. And there was 20 in a class, and we said, how can this happen? Well, you wouldn't know if they take them out of Marlow and Maidenhead and put them in another direction.
That's right. It's like gambling, Terry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. And I think where the other, maybe 250 are placed, is where we wouldn't be speeding and we wouldn't be caught. It's just a caution. Basically a caution.
What, they're being nice about it? No, I very much doubt it.
They're not being nice about it, meaning that they are there, and you see the camera, and there's no film, but you wouldn't know that, and I wouldn't know that.
Yeah. It's like putting your wages on black in a casino. Yeah,
exactly.
You might get lucky, but then again, you might not.
Yes.
All right. Listen, thanks a lot, Terry.
Thank you, bye.
Don't do it again, all right? How evil is that, doing 34 in a 30 zone? Like everybody doesn't do that. Isn't it ridiculous that the government is coming, is stomping all over us and fining us for something? Don't get me started. Anyway, I think that's what those cameras might be, that they are filmless cameras, and they're sending it all back by wire. How evil.
BBC 97.3.
Nick Abbott.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
So Amy Winehouse did actually manage to show up at the MOBO Awards. Hey, well done, Amy.
Does that mean she won an award?
I don't know. Have the results been released?
Maybe it's ongoing.
Who cares? I mean, really, does anybody care about the MOBO Awards or the Brit Awards or the
Oscars?
Or any of that stuff? Really, there's just too many award ceremonies.
Well, people have, like, award parties, don't they? And sit around the telly watching them.
Not for the MOBO Awards, they don't.
Well,
is it even televised?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
It's probably on like a digital channel, but
I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's parties for every type of award ceremony.
Right.
You know, I'm sure they have award parties for even the BAFTAs and
No, they don't.
The MTV Music Awards.
No, they don't. They have it for the Oscars, and that's it.
I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would be surprised.
The problem I have is no one will probably admit it because it's too...
embarrassing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
That's correct. On that we can agree. Here's a call in the city. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
All right, thanks.
Good. I wanted to try and give you some balance on your theories regarding the police vehicles.
Well, that's what we like on this show, balance.
Kind of almost straight from the horse's mouth. It's all about business model and residual value, and I know that you and probably a number of the listeners will find that hard to accept.
Yeah, when you said that, I thought... Yeah.
No, in taking the step from, you know, the likes of Fords and Rovers and going into the step, you know, the lines of Mercedes and BMW, they actually, in the long term, save money. Because the service costs of the vehicles concerned are reduced over the period of, say, 3 to 4 years.
Are you trying to tell me that it's cheaper to service a BMW than it is a Ford?
Than a Ford, which requires more parts in the same amount of time? Yes, it is. Absolutely.
That requires more parts?
Yeah, you take the old Ford Sierras, that used to be the area cars. The Ford Sierra, it would stay in fleet till about 75,000 miles.
Yeah.
And in that time, it would require a lot more servicing and a lot more parts than a BMW 5 Series that will give you twice that amount of mileage in the same period of time. It will require less servicing and less parts, and that's a fact. And any BMW salesperson or mechanic I would invite now to call in and give you an alternative argument. But they'll support what I'm telling you. And as such, they can reduce their servicing departments and their servicing logistics throughout the whole service, and thus in time save money, and then sell the vehicle at auction for more money at the end of the term.
Well, that all sounds plausible until you think that it will cost you twice as much to buy it in the first place, and who really wants a second-hand police car?
Well, then they're not necessarily buying them outright, and on lease plans it's actually more affordable. But it is true. And did you just, sorry, Nick, did you just say who wants to buy a second-hand police car?
Yeah.
Well, I think that a number of your listeners will phone up and say that they actually make it a challenge in life to try to buy a second-hand police car that's been through auction, because you will find it hard to find a better serviced and maintained vehicle on the streets in London.
Well, you make a good point. And what about the perps that have been sitting in the back seat, covered with all sorts and making?
Well, that's irrelevant, because they strip out the interiors of the vehicles to make space for the telecommunications or other equipment. So that's actually irrelevant. But I mean, even before those vehicles go to auction, they go through the workshops to make sure that they are fully serviced. You know, filters and parts and brakes, etc., before they go to auction. They don't go to auction as clapped-out vehicles. Do you know about the theory or the fact as to why they changed their vehicles from white to silver in London? Has that one been discussed? Do you know that one already?
Why the police changed from silver? I didn't even realise that they had. But okay, lay it on me, baby.
Well, they changed colour from... Do you recall that they all used to be white, didn't they, with coloured stripes?
I thought they still were.
No, they're all silver.
Are they?
or red if they're in central London for a particular department. But most of the police vehicles in London now are silver.
Right.
And the reason for that is because some police officer suggested to the service that they should go to silver because nothing would be lost in the actual appearance of the vehicle as a police vehicle.
But it'd be easier to sell on.
It will gain more value when it goes to auction. Who wants a white car?
Well,
Nobody.
very fashionable these days.
What, white?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, yeah, maybe if it's a Bentley.
Not round your way.
But that's hopefully a little bit of an insight into the more factual reasons behind why these changes have taken place.
Yeah, plus it's nice to ride around in a BMW.
Absolutely. Much better than a Ford Sierra.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
No worries.
Cheers, ta-da. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, I'll keep my eyes peeled. Can I have one with a big blue light on the top?
I think they want to keep those.
Let's have Edgware. Hello, Ron.
Hello, good afternoon, Nick.
Ron.
Oh, original.
Yeah.
The reason why I was phoning up, I'm listening to Mark now, I wouldn't know what to say about this, because I was in London last week, and I saw a Lamborghini, police Lamborghini, in the full police stripes and colours and everything. So
No, you did not.
I've got it on my phone.
A police Lamborghini? Are you sure that wasn't a joke?
I have it on my phone. Yeah, I've got a police Lamborghini on my phone. I've had the video at the same time. It must admit it's a gorgeous car, but why have the police... And apparently they've got 6 of them.
It is a nice car, but you don't like the colour scheme. Right.
I definitely don't like the colour scheme. No.
I mean, as though a Lamborghini weren't shouty enough. Yeah.
yeah. So if he's saying it's cheaper to maintain a BMW, how cheap is it to maintain 6 Lamborghinis?
All right, well, I'll take it on trust. Thanks a lot, Ron.
All right, mate.
Cheers. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Did you read about the... I will come back to the Sky Sports thing. I hope you're writing all these things down that I start and then never finish.
I'm trying.
And I'll also do the Rear of the Year thing. And we'll try to find out who won the... Oh, we don't really care who won the Mobos, do we? Really? We only care if anybody got shot at the ceremony.
No, I think...
Not so far.
I think, Amy Winehouse will be, she's winning everything at the moment.
Easy to remember. Just think wino.
Yeah, she's winning everything at the moment.
A man who caused £20,000 worth of damage to a sports car, a Lamborghini, was caught after a video clip of the prank was inadvertently sent to an employee of its owner. Did you read about this?
Nope.
Did you hear that?
What?
What's that rumbling? Are you tapping a mic in there or something?
No, I can't hear any rumbling.
Egged on by friends, Frankie Hume, 23. Now, imagine this, that you're drunk, okay, and you wander down the street, and there's a bright white, I think it was white, see, very fashionable these days, a bright white Lamborghini was sitting there on the pavement, minding its own affairs. And you thought, because they're shaped like a wedge, they're very low down and shaped like a ramp, basically, he thought, I'll run up it.
What?
That's right. He thought, I'll run up it.
Right.
And over the back and then down again. Because it's like,
To serve what purpose?
Well, because he's drunk. For
fun?
For further amusement, yeah. So, Mr. Greentree, a 38-year-old businessman, did not realise until he arrived home that there were dents in his vehicle's roof. For days after the incident, last June, a group of Hume's friends, this is the chap that ran over it, began distributing a clip of the prank, which they had recorded on their phones. How many times has this happened? That somebody records something stupidly criminal that they've done, and then they stick it on YouTube. And then the police see it, and they go, right, you're nicked. That's why they call it YouTube. Anyway, so they were in the pub, his mates, who'd recorded this thing on their phone, this guy running up and down a Lamborghini. Well, I suppose it must be tempting, a flash car like that looks like an access ramp. Less like a car and more like a door jamb.
Or maybe he was using it to get over
as
something
a shortcut,
else. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, £100,000 shortcut, yeah. So they were sending this, this amusing clip to each other via Bluetooth. Now, this is something that everything that I own has got, and I've got no idea how to work it, where it is, what you do. I haven't the faintest idea, and I don't care. Don't even begin to explain it. I don't want to know.
Right.
But it's probably going to give us all cancer, unless they're advertising with us, in which case it won't. Is it a company, or just an invention?
Invention.
It was got capital B. Anyway, Bluetooth, which allows videos and pictures to be picked up by other mobile phones in the area. How it does that, no one has any idea. Unluckily for them, one of the people close by was a guy who works for the man who owns the car. And because his phone was switched on to Bluetooth, or whatever that is,
right.
it picked it up. And so he's just standing there, minding his business, and suddenly his phone has got a video on it of somebody running up and down his boss's car. So he gives it to the police. And the police watch it, and not only is the guy on camera doing it, but his friends are chanting his name as he's doing it, making it much easier for the police to apprehend said crim. Hume, who is unemployed, of course, admitted a charge of criminal damage when he appeared at Norwich Crown Court. Norwich? Well, okay, if I owned a Lamborghini, I wouldn't park it in Norwich. You're asking for it, aren't you? He was ordered to undertake 100 hours of community service. Good. Thank you, sir. May I have another? But that's not going to be 100 hours of community service. What will that actually be, by the way? Nothing at all. He was also placed under a curfew between 8 at night and 6 in the morning. In order to pay Mr. Greentree compensation, he did 20 grand's worth of damage. He's ordered to pay him £1,000. There is the full majesty of the law in action. Isn't it rubbish? 9:15. Travel now with Nikki Selman.
Well, problems if you're coming to and from the Emirates Stadium at the moment.
Hi, Annie. How are you?
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Oh, hello.
Alan.
Hello, Nick.
You seem surprised. You called me, remember?
Yes. Hello, Nick. Good evening. I want to talk about, first of all, the service costs on the BMWs. You say is astronomically high.
Yeah.
Well, if it's their own fitters, they don't have to pay them so much.
Right. Well, we'll just pass over that because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I do believe that these accidents that happen virtually everywhere, it's not relatively done for speed. It's following the vehicle in front too closely.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of that. Yeah.
It is.
It's because the masses are asses. Yeah. In general, people shouldn't be allowed behind the wheel of a car, or be allowed to, reproduce or leave their house.
Exactly. I have seen two vehicles follow each other 6 foot at 55 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me.
I'll put it on YouTube.
Have you? So you were driving along at 50 miles an hour, when with one hand you were filming somebody else being right. Of course
what it was is I put a tripod and I lashed it down to the dashboard of my cab, and bungee jumped it and tied down and just pressed record, and it recorded for an hour.
Why?
What?
Why?
To put down certain things, how they drive recklessly.
Right.
And I put down this lorry that kept on weaving into the hard shoulder. In fact, I put that on YouTube. He's driving at 50 miles an hour, and he travels over 100 yards in the hard shoulder.
Well, he's probably asleep or drunk.
Yes.
Or both.
Yeah, lovely speaking to you.
All right, thanks, Alan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel. And how does that song go?
At all times?
No, it doesn't go like all times. It's a yellow polka dot bikini. If you look at the lyrics on Google, which you're doing straight away, and here's you leaping into action. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. Look up the lyrics to that. I'm keen to find out. Here is a mobile. Hello?
Hi.
Yes, you're on the air.
It's Dave in Edgware.
Hello, Dave.
Is this Nick's show?
You're on the air, yes.
Hello, mate. About these new cameras which one of your female callers mentioned, yeah?
These things that look like they're about as big as a tube of Smarties.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Well, you've got those ones, which are now appearing at traffic light junctions, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're pointing down at you.
That's right.
They're security.
They're what?
I think they're for security and for the powers that be to monitor the roads. However, the other type of cameras, which are now sitting across on perches, these, I suspect, are the new type of speed camera. They don't flash.
Well, what do they look like?
On an average A road, pick the A41, for example, they're on a pole, on a perch, and there'll be 5 or 6 cameras. They look as though there's 2 parts to them. They are grey. They are impossible to see from a real good distance, and some of them are well hidden. And I suspect that these are the new type of flashless digital speed cameras, which was mentioned in the Sunday papers about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was talking about this just now, the ones that don't need film.
That's right. Well, all the we got the old Gatsos, which we hate.
Yes.
And then they were replaced by the digital cameras up 50-foot poles, but they were yellow, so they could be seen from a distance.
Yeah.
These new ones, I don't know if you know the A312, it's the road from Heathrow going out to Harrow.
Right.
There's a whacking great black sign across the, one of these notice board signs across the road. And 10 foot behind it, there's one of these cameras.
Right, so they've done their very best to hide it from us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and they are planted in a very difficult position. And there's another one on the way to Enfield, and it's actually, from a distance, you see a road bridge. You can't see the cameras across you. So we know what they're there for. They're not there for road safety.
And are we up in arms about this? Are we parading through the streets, defending our rights to,
No, because we're British. We're British. We don't do this.
No, we'll just meekly take it on the chin. As I said before, thank you, sir, may I have another? Yeah, all right, thanks for the bad news.
You're welcome, sir. Cheers.
Ta-ta. This is just getting too much. This is really, it is getting my goat. They're bleeding us dry. Like they don't tax us enough as it is. They're doing this to us now.
Oh, well,
and now they're going to make it even harder so that you can't even see them.
Just go along with it. Just go with the flow.
No, I don't think we should be going along with the flow. I think we should... OK, David Cameron, here you are. You've been scatting around for something, anything to make us vote for you, and so far you've come up with absolutely nothing. You're a shower man. That's what your supporters are saying. It's because you haven't said anything that people can actually latch onto and say, aha, yes, I'll vote for you. You're coming up with daft stuff like, I'm going to tax your air flights, and I'm going to tax your cars, and I'm going to tax your parking in supermarkets, and I'm going to tax this and tax that, and I'm thinking, alarm bells should be ringing in your mind, really. This is not what a Tory government would do. That's the exact opposite to what a Tory government normally promises people. We'll give you more money, they say, not less. How's that going to make people stop voting Labour and start to vote for you? You silly man.
It all boils down to money, doesn't it?
If anyone, I don't care who they are, the Nazi party could come in and say, well, okay, that's a bit extreme, and say that they'll take away all these speed cameras and I'd vote for them. I wouldn't actually vote for the Nazi party, even if they did that.
No.
Because it's too close to nasty. There was this big hoo-ha in the papers today about, nasty, Nazi. Right. They got the name wrong right off the bat. Don't call your political party a name that's too close to nasty. Because it gives people some sort of indication as to what kind of person you are.
Of course.
There was a thing in the papers about some woman had bought a bag in one of these cheap shops, and it had got a swastika on it.
Right.
And she took it back, much disturbed, and they gave her her money back, and they apologised profusely and blah, blah, blah.
Was it on there by accident?
Well, it was part of... it didn't have a giant swastika. It wasn't the only thing that was on the bag, because she would have noticed that. No, it was hidden amongst lots of flowers, and it was a swastika sign inside, like, sun rays.
Yeah.
And I was walking around some stately home... the other week, and they had an antique fire guard.
Right.
And right at the top, there were swastikas on each corner as part of a larger design, and it was hundreds of years old, this thing.
Sure.
And right enough, if you look thousands of years ago, the Egyptians used to use swastikas. It's a sun sign. That's what that is. The nasty Nazis just appropriated it. They didn't come up with that. I believe it's an old Egyptian sun sign that has been used throughout millennia as a positive sign of, warmth and renewal and growth and so on and so forth. And and somebody who wasn't thinking straight put it on a handbag from one of these high street cheap shops. Too much consternation all round. But really, we should reclaim that sign. I guess it's a bit too late, really, isn't it?
It's tainted now.
It is, yeah. Okay, so take it off your bags, and they'll go. Even Kate Moss will be seen wearing one.
Of course.
As long as she can, get her head on straight, because the pictures that were printed this morning of her coming out of that bash that she was at last night made it look like, well, maybe she'd had a sherbet too many. Or maybe it was just very rough in there, because her dress was ripped and she looked like she needed help holding up.
The thing is, if you're going to go to a high-profile bash, you're going to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a classy joint. Maybe it was a mosh pit in there. People were fighting for drinks, and she had a dress ripped, and not the kind of a classy establishment you'd expect Kate Moss to be at.
I'm sure she had a
wild time.
A nice, probably even a private corner in the place.
But one picture, how does this woman do it? One picture showed her with her dress ripped and the seam was torn, and so she took the dress, which was some sort of antique thing, which looked fabulous when she was going in, and looked terrible as she was coming out. And to cover up the rips and the tears, she hoiked it up and tied it around herself, which was like DIY, right? It was in extremis. You just pick it up and tie it around to cover up the tears, right? And the result of what she'd done to this thing looked 10 times better than the dress when she went in. How does she do it? Well, very annoying.
That's why she's a model.
I suppose so. Which is why I will never be a top model. I mean, look at me.
Do I have to?
I'm a disgrace. It's almost 9:30. Let's have the what I expect is the bad news.
We are gathered here today to witness
London's LBC 97.3.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
Here's Natalie in Gypsy Hill.
Hello.
Natalie.
Hiya. You were just saying about that Itsy Weenie song, Itsy Witsy Teeny Beanie.
It's a what?
Bikini.
Itsy Witsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, yeah.
Yeah, it's something like, I'm trying to think of the lyrics, and it's something like, keep your mind on the driving, keep your hands on the wheel, make sure you keep your eyes on the road ahead, and then, because we're having fun, sitting in the back seat, kissing and hugging with Fred.
With Fred, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not that.
No! Is it not?
It's something else. I don't know what it is, because I've got the lyrics to Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini in front of my very eyes, and it's, she was afraid to come out of the locker, she was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker, she was afraid that someone would see. 1, 2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore. And then on and on. And then repeat. And it's got nothing to do with anybody driving or sitting in the back seat mucking about with Fred. So I'm totally wrong. It's the only thing I've ever got wrong on this show.
Well, I must have got what you said right then.
Yeah, you did.
We got the song wrong.
You are completely correct, apart from being totally wrong.
I'll take that.
Thanks, Natalie.
Bye.
Ta-da. But I don't know what it is now. That's going to really annoy me. Does anybody know what it is? Does Holly know? Hey, Holly.
Hi.
Hey, Holly.
Hi, I know what it is.
What is it?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you were wrong with this bikini thingy.
What?
I've never known you to be wrong.
I know. I'm right about everything.
It's 7 little girls sitting in the back seat, kissing and hugging with Fred.
But what's the song called?
7 little girls.
It's called Seven Little Girls?
Yeah, open brackets, sitting in the back seat. It's got the lines, something like, keep your mind on your driving, keep your hands on the wheel, keep your snoopy eyes on the road ahead. We're having fun sitting in the big back seat, kissing and hugging with Fred.
Do you remember who did it?
Paul Evans.
Paul Evans?
Yeah.
Never heard of him. Are you sure?
Well, have a look on everyhit.com.
All right, I'll check it out.
But yeah, that's definitely the song. And I know because when I was little, my dad used to play it over and over and over and over again. So I wanted to scream. And then when I heard you quote the words...
You wanted to scream again?
I wanted to scream again.
There it was, coming back to haunt you. Yeah.
All right, it got to number 25 in the chart in November 1959.
Hey, DJ!
Hey, get that, hey.
All right, thanks, Holly.
Okay, then.
Right, gonna look that up, Chris. Check that out on the World Wide Wait. It's called Seven Little Girls, apparently by someone called Paul Evans, I've never heard of.
Right.
We must know. Here's Edgware. Oh, George.
Hi, Nick, how you doing?
All right, thanks.
Good. First of all, I just wanted to agree with you about the swastika, because it is, in a lot of Asian religions and cultures, it's a really positive symbol.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in the Western world, because it was used by the Nazis, 99 out of 100 people, if you show it to them, would automatically associate it with the Nazi party, and therefore it can't really be used in the Western world.
Maybe he was, maybe Prince Harry, when he went to a party, was actually dressed as a sun symbol.
No, because they put it sort of at an angle within the red circle, etc. You can see a clear definition between a Nazi swastika and the sort of Asian swastika.
Yeah.
It's that sort of the shape of the legs, effectively, which are the swastika symbol, which is used across Asia as a really positive symbol for well-being and things like that.
But it does represent the rays of the sun, no?
Yes, it does have something to do with the sun, and people associate the rays of the sun as, to do with good things, basically, in a lot of religions. So it is a positive symbol, but you'll never get away with using it in the Western world in anything other than, as anything other than a Nazi symbol.
No. I mean, if Charles Manson has got it tattooed on his forehead, it's not something you want on your bag, no.
No, not really. The other thing is, the caller just before the news who was talking about the cameras that are over the road now on the sort of pod with 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Therefore, this program they're rolling out with heavy polluting vehicles like trucks and buses, etc.
Right.
That's what they're there for. They're nothing to do with speed cameras, because speed cameras by law have to be painted yellow. And although councils or local authorities, whoever puts them up, will do whatever they can to stick them behind signs and behind bridges and under trees, they can't legally put them up unless they're completely yellow. So these ones couldn't be used for traffic sort of control, and they're just there to monitor the trucks and buses who are entering into this new program for to be licensed for heavy polluting and whatever.
And where did you get that information from?
A friend of mine who's in the traffic industry.
Right. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better, but I'm still very suspicious.
I wouldn't, because I was a bit concerned. I thought, this is ridiculous. Every road I go down, they've got these cameras up.
Yeah.
I was always aware of the idea of Big Brother, and they say if you walk down Oxford Street, you're being recorded by, 3,000 cameras or something, and everybody's watching you and all that stuff.
That's right.
And I thought this is just another step in the country's going mad.
Yes.
If you don't drive anything bigger than sort of 3 or 4 litre diesel in a huge truck, then apparently you have nothing to be concerned about. So, don't worry too much.
All right. Thanks, George.
All right. Have a good night. Cheers.
Yeah. Well, that might be what they're telling us now. Okay, here's how they do it. They'll put up something and say, we're putting this up for your benefit, because we really care about you, and we want to reduce the amount of particles of nastiness that are in the air, and so those horrible polluters, by the way, most of which are buses,
right,
running around London empty, taking up vast amounts of road space and pumping out giant amounts of carbon, making an ungodly noise. They're so loud.
They are loud, aren't they?
I mean, it's staggering how loud they are. They've got to be one of the most human-unfriendly vehicles that have ever been invented. Buses.
The worst noise is when they're pulling away from a bus stop. It's that
or if you happen to be unlucky enough to live near a bus terminus where they just sit, particularly in the summer, and because they've got the aircon running. I imagine it's much the same in the winter, because I used to live near one of these places where, not a bus station, mind, but like the stop before a bus station. Maybe they sit there just to regulate the time so that they arrive accurately.
Yeah.
As per the timetable. But they sit there, of course, with the engine running. And the noise that comes off these things, and it's like 24 hours a day. Thanks, Ken.
But you get used to that noise, don't you?
No,
living in London?
You don't get used to it. It's always annoying.
It's like sirens. You kind of blank them out in the end,
don't
don't
be
you?
ridiculous. Of course you can't blank a siren out. It's like saying you could blank being hit on the head out.
It's true,
as
'cause
long as it happens a lot.
It's true, because my last flat was opposite a police station and a fire station.
Yeah.
And so...
You never get used to that. It'll always wake you up.
But the thing is, in the middle of the night, I still slept.
Okay, here's a request. The police, the ambulance and the fire people. In the middle of the night, when the roads are completely empty, if you've got a totally free thoroughfare ahead of you, don't turn your siren on.
They've got to, haven't they?
No, they don't.
It's even more dangerous at night, though, if they don't, because, you know, it's dark.
Oh, shut up. It's dark. They're lit up like Christmas trees. You can't miss them. No, it's just that they're not thinking. Or either that or they don't care.
No, but if you're coming from the, the wrong angle, you know, you're not going to see this thing darting across your path.
Well, in that case, then they should only proceed at 5 miles an hour, with 4 people carrying cones at each corner of the vehicle as it goes down the street, shouting "warning." But it will come to that, won't it? We'll go back to where we used to have a guy with a red flag walking in front of every vehicle in case of accidents.
But then their response times are too long. If they, they do that.
Right.
They can't have...
Well, you've thought this through, haven't you?
I have,
Well
yes.
done, yeah. Anyway, we've got the actual lyrics to this thing that's been driving me mad. And is it called, 7 Little Girls?
Apparently so, according to this.
And who's it by?
Paul Evans.
Oh, she was right. She was right in every respect.
Yeah.
And here are the lyrics that are actually written, they've actually written this down.
You've got to sing it, though.
They start, dee-doo-dee doom doom, dee-doo-dee doom doom, dee-doo-dee doom doom doom. They actually wrote that down.
Yes.
Someone was paid money for that. In fact, we probably have to pay them for me just saying that.
Probably.
7 little girls sitting in the back seat, hugging and a-kissing with Fred, who gets all the action. I said, why don't one of you come and sit beside me? And this is what the 7 girls said. What kind of a car, by the way, can have 8 people in the back seat? That would be a bit of a crush. Not so much a sandwich as a mountain. Under which Fred is sitting, this giant smile on his face.
Maybe it was a bendy bus.
I've never been on a bendy bus. I don't think I've experienced the joys of being inside a bendy bus, nor do I ever want to be on one. Here's why a bendy bus is ridiculously silly. And I know people complain because they explode, which can be inconvenient. If it bursts into flames while you're travelling on it, that's an inconvenience. That's an almost terrible way to start the day.
Yes.
But here's the reason why they're so silly, and here's the reason why I won't vote for Ken Livingstone. Didn't he say only a heartless moron would... yeah, I know. 9:45,
yes,
travel. We're minutes away. Stop panicking. Only a heartless moron would get rid of the Route Master bus, said Ken Livingstone, something along those lines. And who got rid of the Route Master bus? That's right. Ken Livingstone, and he put these bendy buses in. And why we have those, I don't know. I'm very suspicious. The roads of London weren't made even for buses, let alone buses that are that long. They were made for horses and carriages.
Right.
They're tiny.
But they still fit. I know it's a bit of a struggle.
I don't care. It's a bus. It's a double-decker bus that's had the top lopped off it and put on the back. So it takes up twice the road space as an ordinary bus. Can anybody explain that to me? No.
Oh.
Don't even try. You'd just be guessing.
Well, that's what you're doing.
No, I'm not. This is absolutely true. It takes up twice the road space of a double-decker bus. That's correct, isn't it? That's incontrovertible.
But it can.
So why?
Because it can stay. Well, it stays in its own bus lane, doesn't it? So it shouldn't really bother you. So why
I'm gonna leap through all 3 panes of glass and throttle you.
Yeah. Well, I've locked the door.
7 little girls sitting in the back seat, hugging and kissing with Fred. I said, why don't one of you come up and sit beside me? And this is what the 7 girls said. All together now. 1, 2, 3. Keep your mind on your driving, keep your hands on the wheel, and keep your snoopy eyes on the road ahead. We're having fun, sitting in the back seat, kissing and a-hugging with Fred. What, like he's their driver? What's that about? Presumably it's that bloke's car,
right.
And he's giving them a lift.
Mm-hmm.
Fred's his mate. And for some reason, he didn't want to sit up front. And now the guy who's driving knows the reason why. Because there happens to be 7 girls sitting in the back seat. The seat must be gigantic. And he wants a little bit of that action. And they're telling him to just keep driving. Like he's their chauffeur. Well, what kind of a deal is that? Drove through the town, drove through the country, showed them how a motor could go. I said, how do you like my triple carburettor? And one of them whispered low, all together now, 1, 2, 3. Keep your mind on your driving, keep your hands on the wheel, and keep your snoopy eyes on the road ahead. We're having fun, sitting in the back seat, kissing and a hugging with Fred. It's 9:45. Here's travel now with... I don't know.
It's Nikki here, hello.
Nikki!
Thank you very much. Starting out in Upper Holloway, the A1 Holloway Road, still closed off.
Come on, we're running late.
Richard.
Hello.
Hey,
How
Richard.
are you?
Good, thanks.
Good, good. I'd just like to mention one little thing about the police and ambulance services, well, all emergency services. After a certain period of time of night, so I think it's believed around 9 o'clock, they're not allowed to have their alarms or sirens going at all until they get to a major crossroads or roundabout.
Yeah, well, that's just rubbish, though, isn't it?
Well, not really, because obviously during the night they can't just fly down the street with the sirens going and wake everyone up.
But they do.
When they get... No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Okay, they might turn them on when they get to the speed cameras, obviously, so they don't get flashed. But the police are one of the biggest... talking about cameras again, one of the biggest problems for these speed cameras. Do you know that the police get fined more times than anybody else who are travelling through speed cameras who get flashed?
Yeah,
and they don't get charged for them at all.
Yeah, they don't get charged, no.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason why they don't get charged is because they throw their lights on for no reason. But actually, for the sirens during the night, I mean, I live next to a train station. I don't hear the trains, but when a friend of mine who drives the ambulance services tells me that after around 9 o'clock, that the sirens are not supposed to be on until they get to a major crossroads. Or
yeah,
like.
Supposed to be, being the operative phrase, yeah.
Well, of course, yes, but you like everyone else on the way home from work, everyone wants to get home as quick as possible, I'm afraid, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So, yeah, I just want to clear that one up anyway for you.
All right, thanks a lot, Richard.
No problem. Cheers, good. Bye.
Ta-ta. Is it clear now? No.
Oh. But you must just live near a major crossroads then, or
I used to live near a hospital with a fire...
department?
What do they call them?
Station.
Fire station down the road, and a police station on the other way. In other words, it was... and it was a main road as well. So it was... it was a corridor of sirens, 24 hours a day.
But you were all right in an emergency.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Anyway, it's a couple of things that I did start a long time ago that I didn't get around to, and you've been keeping notes, haven't you?
Yes.
It's a no. A Facebook group. Remember we was talking about... Did I actually say that? We were talking about Facebook.
That's
group,
how they talk on Facebook as well.
which was claiming a victory after a battle with Sky Sports over where scores are displayed during live Premiership matches. Now, at the moment, it's in the top left-hand corner.
Yes.
All football matches are the same, top left-hand corner. In fact, it's the very same place where most TV companies put their annoying logo.
Right.
Why do we need to know which channel we're watching? We know which channel we're watching, and if we want to know, if we don't know, we just press the question mark button on our remote control and it will tell us, right? But no, that's not good enough. They have to splash their logo over the screen. Particularly annoying when the Sopranos, I know I keep going on about the Sopranos, but it is flat out the best thing that's ever been on TV. E4 is showing it now. So not only is the E4 logo on the top left of the screen, which is big enough, but then, as though that weren't sufficient, underneath it, they've got brand new.
What, into the whole programme?
Yeah, all the time it's on, yeah. That's so annoying. There's virtually no area of the screen that doesn't have Channel 4 writing all over it.
It was just clever branding, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. We know what channel we're on, and we don't need you to tell us it's brand new.
What I don't get then, if the sports channels put their own logo in the top left-hand corner, where do the scores go?
Right next to it. Do you not watch football?
No, I don't.
Well, they're right next to it.
To the right of it?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, I've seen programmes in America And what the Americans seem to be doing now, after much, it must have been a lot of complaints, or they just sat down and thought what would be the best thing for our customers, which hasn't occurred to anybody in this country yet, is the logos go at the bottom of the screen. Because where are your eyes all the time? They're where other people's eyes are. You're looking in the eyes of the actors, right? Now, most people's eyes are at the top of their head. And if someone's head is on a screen, then the action will be towards the top of the screen, correct?
Yes.
So they put the logos at the bottom, where all the dark bits are, where people's shoes are, where you don't care what's happening down there, unless it's one of those films, in which won't have a logo.
No.
But when you see it, you think, wow, that's revolutionary. But it's brilliant because it's just so unobtrusive.
Are they the same size as the previous?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what size they are. They just take it from the top of the screen, where it shouts at you, and they put it at the bottom of the screen, where you can ignore it. That's what they're doing in America, and I really wish that they'd start doing it here. And these dopes, when Sky did this, and they tend to be the first with all of these revolutionary, moves on television, they put the scores from the top of the screen to the bottom.
Right.
And these people, because nobody likes change, they don't think about it, they just don't like it. Whatever it is, they don't like it. You don't even need to explain it or show it to them. If it's different, we don't like it. More than 5,000 football fans signed an online petition after Sky Sports moved scores during live games from top left to bottom left of the screen. Why? 5,000 people felt exercised enough to complain and sign a petition. Dan, who started the campaign, wrote on the group's page that he had been appalled to see the score on the bottom as he watched Chelsea and Manchester United's Charity Shield clash last month. But this weekend the scores were back on the top left, where they had been since the channel started to show live games in 1992. After almost 6,000 people signed the petition. Why would you be appalled at that? I mean, why would you even think about it?
It just sounds extremely lazy that he's complaining because the logos have literally gone, what, I don't know, half a foot, yeah.
What, a half a foot? How big's your screen?
We're looking at 10 inches.
The spokesman for Sky Sports said, we just decided to put it back, really. We're always trying new things, and we are aware of the online petition. Don't do it. Well, specifically don't do it. I don't really care what they do with football. I've cancelled my sports subscription because there's so much else to watch. I just haven't got the time. I mean, I must have 100 hours of backed up stuff on my PVR. I'll never get round to it.
Sports?
And if you add... No, not sports, just films, and mostly films. I'm never going to watch it all. So I cancelled sports because there's just not enough hours in the day. I'll watch the match of the day. It's the highlights. You'll watch it quicker, and then, the few scraps of live football that you get from the main channels, I'll just pick that up.
So basically, the TV package that you've got is totally useless to you.
Because I never get around to watching any of it.
Yeah.
No, you're right. But please, pretty please, with sugar on top, I'm begging you, take your logos, make them smaller, and put them at the bottom of the screen.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Okay, so that's one thing that we got cleared up.
Yep.
Now, the other one is the Rear of the Year. Here are some of the people that have won Rear of the Year in years past. Barbara Windsor. Okay, there I have to stop. Barbara Windsor?
Well,
what is she, 80 years old?
Yeah, but it was probably years ago. Look, she's at the top of the list, which would suggest that it was a long time ago.
Well, how long could they possibly be running a Rear of the Year contest? I mean, it didn't start in the 50s, did it?
Well, there's so many people on this list. Surely, it's been good. It's one a year, isn't it? Just one winner per year.
Every time I see this Rear of the Year contest, I take one look and I think, well, you actually got no rear. It's completely flat back there.
Maybe
I think it's just, it's all about agents. It must be whichever agent shouts the loudest gets their client Rear of the Year. I mean, if you were voted Rear of the Year, would you actually go and collect your award?
It depends what it looks like.
No, it doesn't. It's got to be the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard. Right, other people, let's see if we've heard of any of these people. They're all old. I'm sorry, but, when you're young and lovely, then your bottom is pert. Buns of Steel. when you're youthful. When you get older, when you hit your 50s, where once were buns of steel, now lie bags of porridge.
Well, is that what I've got to look forward to?
Yes. Or look backwards to, more accurately. Michael Barrymore. Michael Barrymore? Anita Dobson. Sue Pollard. Oh, this is ridiculous.
Are you sure we've got the right list?
Oh, this is what it said. This is past winners of Rear of the Year. Frank Skinner. Oh, come on. Graham Norton. Will Young. Ian Wright. Well, you see, Ian Wright's a footballer. He probably does have a rear that would warrant an award. Oh, Struth. Anyway, this year's Rear of the Year is Sean Lloyd. To which the question is, who?
The Weather Girl. You know Sean Lloyd.
No, who's Sean Lloyd?
She does the national weather on ITV.
Oh, I don't watch ITV. Well, in the morning?
No, throughout the day, I guess.
And there's Sean Lloyd, looking over her shoulder with her bottom pointing at the camera, and I'd have to say that once again, that's not what you'd call a world-class bottom, is it? It looks a bit flat.
Well, maybe it's just the angle.
J-Lo famously has a world-class bottom, does she not? Because you could virtually balance a tray of drinks on it. It's so pert.
Problem is, she's not British.
Oh yeah. So Sean Lloyd is the Rear of the Year. I hope she's happy with that.
I can't believe you don't know who Sean Lloyd is.
No. Well, like I say, I can't remember the last thing I watched on ITV.
Oh.
Michael Grade would be very upset about that, but then no one else can remember the last thing they watched on ITV that didn't have Simon Cowell in it.
That's true.
Yeah. Still, good luck with the channel. You're going to need it. Oh, and Lee Mead also won for the, holding up the male end of the deal, so to speak. And I repeat my question. Lee Mead. Who's he? Clive's next.
On 97.